Joe Budden.
Oh yeah, the warning. Use it, whatever. This podcast.
But the way he said it funny as hell. It's that his voice sound like he should do voiceover. There, remember that guy that worked at your job, Glenn?
Who?
And he got fired because that lady said because he was like, is there anybody with you? And then she was like, no, just me and Jesus in the ride. He was like, is Jesus?
Wait, what?
Is Jesus gonna give you a ride?
Wow, he got fired for saying that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that OG.
He's supposed to be booking rides, and so he said, "Is there any extra? Yeah, is there any extra passengers?" But I said it because his voice, he sounds like.
Be on the move like I need a new hobby. Fucking 9 to 5.
That was funny. I was there when it happened. I was there when he was working there. When he told me
He
he
must
got
have
fired.
been tired of that shit.
You want some mustard? I got a bag full of mustard.
I don't really use. Unless
God, but why you got a bag full
I
of
don't
mustard?
mustard on sandwich. It's hot. So
I got mayonnaise too.
I got mayonnaise.
You don't want no mayonnaise and no mustard?
Well, I don't got time to eat sweet.
What about-
Capsules.
What about Doritos? Nah, it's just cold.
I was about to say you don't need it. There's only 2 in there.
What?
Why
They
did
got
you
me.
make it in the...
Usually it's 3.
What a fast one on this one.
I thought you was trying to put that in that piece of that. Like,
Oh, it's not good. Nah, I'm trying to. I don't even know why I let her give me these, but she was like, you want some mustard? And then grabbed a handful of mustard like it was Halloween or something.
Because at the
Trick-or-treating,
bowling
yeah.
day, she made sandwiches. That's what she had extra.
Crazy.
I was like, I don't really use mustard like that. And then James like, he
Yo.
was like, it's just gonna be a bunch of mustard. He was like,
He probably was shaking his head like,
I know he wanted to tell that dude, nigga, watch him out. It was too much. Cause it was just silent
yeah.
at first. And
Then he was like, you
happy
ain't hear what he
birthday.
said? He was like, it's cheaper to keep her. He was like, I ain't chasing. He said, I ain't chasing. Yeah, he said, I ain't chasing nobody. I'm too old for that. I'm 74 years old.
And he was
Like, if they
happy
want to
birthday,
leave,
ain't
if
nobody
they ain't happy here, they can go.
He was like, ain't
And
nobody
they know that.
paying for no dinner.
And the same with me.
But he didn't say it to, like, that's what I was looking, because the whole day, the dude kept saying stuff to my aunt. Like, it seemed like he was flirting. Like,
He was.
She's married.
He was.
And her husband was there too. So, but before he got there, I was peeping that. Like, the dude kept saying stuff, and I'm like, wow, who is this dude? But I'm thinking that to myself. I didn't say nothing or whatever. So but she just ignoring him. But he kept saying stuff to her or whatever. So then when we getting ready to leave, he's like, he just kept saying, I don't even remember what he said, but it was something like, you're trying to flirt. Like, what is going on? And then they were outside, he was there with her, and he was like, you owe me, you could buy me dinner for my birthday or something.
Let it go.
And then it was just kind of like, we looked at her husband like, and then it was just silence for a second, and then he was like,
Let it
happy
go.
birthday. And then he started laughing.
Let it go.
Talking about, ain't nobody buying.
Let it go. See?
I'm like,
You picked the wrong fight. Now you scared of us. Now you don't want to fight it. Now you don't want to mess with
she
it.
was like, he got a wife too, ain't nothing. I was like, I was wondering the whole time. Kept saying little stuff. She was like, oh, the guy is what I do, but I want to think about him. Yeah, she made it around and she always.
Yeah.
Be like, still from the bill.
here, man. Get lifted. 30 is the new 20. It's your boy, Smiley Jizzle, my man,
Chris O.D.
and our co-host.
Erika.
You heard?
We here. One like up here. I love it. Get the likes up. We here, man. We got some crazy stuff to talk about, man. So we're gonna just get right to it. Let's get into this shit.
First and foremost, President Trump went to jail.
Word, I ain't even know that, yo.
Yeah, that's why.
I'm so happy.
I'm not happy.
The way you said it.
I was like, yo, I ain't know.
I ain't going to.
Like, congratulations.
Yeah, President Trump went to jail, and he's out now, probably. You know what I'm saying?
That's my guy.
Exactly. A lot of the consistencies.
Grab her by the pussy.
A lot of the consistencies. They picked the wrong one. They picked the wrong one. And now the funny thing about that is they're trying to attach him to the same. I don't believe that no more. They try to attach him to the same situation with Young Thug and Rico case, which they're gonna fail horribly at. They're not putting the U.S. president in prison, so chill out. And all of this shit is publicity. We heard his merch. Guess how much his merch was?
What? Merch?
His merch. Over $1 million.
President merch.
Over $1 million. He dropped merch of his face on the what's the jail picture.
He's been had
Yeah, his mugshot.
He was buying the mag.
Yeah, the MAGA, but this shit is different. This shit sold out probably more than MAGA hats. I almost popped the shirt. I was like, yo, this shit fire. This shit is crazy. There's never been a time where we could like think that this would happen. Like the president goes to jail and get caught up in a RICO charge. Yeah, I don't know about him. So I think the one that's in presidency right now is supporting the New World Order, to be honest.
God said you be buying that shit.
Oh, he ain't even part of the New World Order. They trying to lock his ass up. Because they trying to lock his ass up. Who you think is trying to lock his ass up?
He ain't innocent.
Listen, the country is guilty for something because the country has did atrocities to us for years. You see what I'm saying? The nigga that's in presidency right now.
The country is not don't make decisions. It's the people that's running the country.
Exactly. Even further on my point. So the people that's running the country can't send their spokesperson to jail. That doesn't make any sense. They're gonna send the person who sends them to jail should be part of the New World Order, or you know what I'm saying, the powers to be, because at the end of the day, now we gotta figure out why are they against him. You see what I'm saying? Now we gotta figure out, like why is so many people of that caliber, like Biden, Kamala, Obama, all these people, why are they really against this dude? Like, it's just regular politics? Because I ain't never seen no nigga go to jail. No president go to jail.
It's hate. It's hate, bro.
What you think? What you think?
I think it's hate, to be honest. That's how I feel about
I think it's publicity stuff, to be honest.
You think it's a publicity stuff?
Yeah.
Then his whole presidency was a publicity stuff.
It's a smoke screen.
But I feel like it's hate, in my opinion, because the nature of what they coming at him about is because his ideology is so vastly different. So they're making him out to be the villain for being different. Not being the robot, you know what I mean? Going outside the box. So a lot of people don't agree with his ideology because he seems like a normal person that uses logic, but he acts on emotion, but emotions make you more human. So because of that, they don't like that. They like, do what we tell you to do. We don't care. And he's like, yo, I don't think this is right. No, I think this will work. You know what I mean? Having a mind to make the tough decisions, to take those tough risks. You know what I mean? That takes emotion. Calculation will give you the most logical sense, but sometimes you gotta think of an edge, something that you may not have tried before. Let's try this might work. You know what I mean? And a lot of people aren't willing to do that because they don't want to hurt some feelings. You know what they say, you gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet. this motherfucker cracked mad eggs. You know what I mean? So a lot of people didn't like what he cooked up, but a lot of people got jobs. A lot of people was back out there working. And then he put money in people's pocket when people was devastated and couldn't work for a whole year. You know what I mean? Like that was something. And he wanted to keep doing that. But the powers that be stopped him. And then we want to look at him like he's this evil guy because he's racist. Newsflash, most of them were. You think Mr. Obama didn't discriminate? Let's be realistic. We know that some of our culture has some inefficiencies, and me and my boy, we always get into a discussion about this, but we got into a business discussion as usual because inventory is a little delayed with my product that's supposed to be coming out soon, and he's like, yo, he wants me to tap into other funds to do it, and I'm like, no, I'm being disciplined to not touch that. I'm gonna get this money the good old-fashioned way, a little bit of sweat. You know what I mean? So he's like, yo, just do it, just get it over with, or pick a niche that's a little bit cheaper and try that to get the money now, and then when you get the money, then get that. And I'm like, yeah, but why would I do that if I'm already investing so much energy into this product? You know what I mean? I don't want to switch gears. But I understand what he's saying because he's like a go-get-it guy type of person like that. But I have things planned out the way I have it planned out, so I have to go about it my way. So that's the thing with Trump. He has things planned out the way he got it planned out, so he has to go about his way. He got to take whatever risks he thinks are necessary for him to accomplish his goal. He got to make his mistakes, his failures, but for the ultimate goal, maybe in the long run, that'll work out. People having jobs, everything not being so high, people being manageable, and people having the opportunity to want to do for themselves and not have to rely so heavily on the government. That's, that was his intention, I believe, with the money. The money wasn't meant for people to go buy new shoes and go on vacations. The money was meant, the money was meant for people to start businesses and start putting money back into the economy. But a lot of people didn't think about it that way. A lot of people just, were buying stuff, which did help put money back into the economy because they needed more people to help with the consumers. But that's my take on it. Like, I think it's a witch hunt. I think, they've been trying to come out of. You hear how the political stuff is real. Like there's that political war that people talk about. It really exists. Like it's really people that really are so bent on like, don't tell me you're bipartisan. You do this. All right. I knew you were like that. Whether you're whatever, liberal or whatever you are, it doesn't matter to me. Like, you know what I mean? I respect people if you treat me with respect, regardless of whatever you have that's different than me. You know what I mean? And this is how people should be, but people get so caught up in these ideologies that they be like, I'm just not going to accept you. Some people might have some really great ideas, but might be a Republican. Some people might have some really great ideas, but might be a Democrat. When you talk about what works for society, you got to really think about not just because you don't like them because of what party they're affiliated with, but look at their views, look at what they're trying to represent. You know what I mean? If they're actually trying to help your culture. To be honest, none of the politicians want to help our culture, so we have to try to help ourselves. So we got to figure out what we need to do to help our community, what petitions we need to raise, what laws we need to get passed or whatever, and present to our local legislation or whatever, and then have them presented to Congress or what have you, you know what I mean? And we can get the ball rolling, but a lot of us aren't really that involved, to be honest. So somebody that's doing something like just look at the views on the basis level. What has he done? You know what I mean? And don't be mad because he talks a little more. I like him because he keep it real. Like that's the only thing that I really appreciate about it. Like, he didn't give a fuck. He was like, he gonna blow shit up. He gonna do this. He gonna do whatever. And he just did it. Like, he like, I'm the fucking president. I'm gonna press the button. You know what I mean? And he fucking did it, bro. Like, you know what I mean? He sent his drones and did what he did. You know what I mean? Some motherfuckers just gotta be like General Ross from the Marvel comics, bro. And just get shit done. You know what I mean? Some people gotta be Nick Fury, bro. And we needed that. We don't need no passive little dude that we're,
Senile.
you know, see now, wearing scarves.
Niggas squares.
You know what I mean? Just tired ass dude, yo.
Not sleepy.
Yeah, bro.
What you think, you?
I think it's just more for the real shit that's going on.
So, do you think the aliens is here yet? Or do you think that's a facade too? Because I hear a lot of shit about these aliens and shit recently, y'all. They fake the moon
Yeah, they
landing.
said about 40 years ago, other countries already documented it, and they did too, but they just didn't want to let us know. But now they're admitting that there's extraterrestrial life.
The truth is out there type shit.
I don't like none of these politicians. I feel like they're all
Speak
full
up
of
a
crap.
little louder when you got the mic. Please.
I feel like all the politicians are full of crap. Yeah. I think the president is not really the one making decisions. It's someone with, you know, that doesn't have a face that we don't know. They're just, the president is just a face for us, so we can have someone to blame. They're the scapegoat for when everything goes wrong, but they're not the ones that actually pulling the strings and making stuff happen.
Let's also talk about Steve Harvey.
I don't even know. Fill me in.
Steve Harvey got cheated on by his wife.
Oh.
That's why they
Is it allegedly or
Nah, it's
we
official
got
now.
we got footage? We got beautiful bean footage that I can post.
Beautiful bean footage, bro. This
Cause she looked good for her age. So it would be.
But
some
you know
beautiful
who
bean footage.
caught it?
Who?
Corey Holcomb.
Word.
Corey Holcomb said, "I know about this chick. And she ain't right."
Ooh.
You know what I mean? And this is way before this happened. He was like,
Spicy.
He said,
Oh, I got something to talk
he
about
said
too. I forgot.
she had a history, and basically, like, she just been a promiscuous woman. You know what I'm saying? So, for him to say that, and then her to sleep with the chef and the bodyguard,
She
Feel
cooking.
worried. That's
yeah. Exactly.
She cooking.
The apple don't fall too far from the tree, goddamn.
She cooking and she got security.
and that ain't even his daughter. She was grown when they got together, and then which is kind of like you gave him like how did you? Or is she
Crazy.
just saying that, calling herself Harvey
Harvey,
because
yeah.
she was an adult, so you can't adopt an adult. I mean, I guess you could change your last name, but look what happened. Man. It's pointless.
Exactly. And now you change the last name and you gotta deal with the consequences
What she
of it.
do?
And I kinda knew what was going on from like how he
Daughters
was
be
treating the
knowing.
daughter when
Daughters
the daughter
be
did
knowing
some
they
fucked up
moms-
shit.
Their moms like
If
that.
my daughter was
You gotta
dating a
protect your
good
mom.
dude,
I ain't snitch on my mom.
if my daughter was dating a good dude like Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan, and then I knew that my daughter wasn't right, I'm gonna talk to my daughter. Like, yo,
He
you're
said,
bugging.
he didn't say what, because he probably don't want everybody all in his business, but he's like, I have conversations with Lori or whatever. I'm pretty sure he was like, and sometimes she takes my advice, sometimes she don't, but she's an adult.
He
Like,
also
I can't-
said he stands by whatever decision she makes, and I don't stand by wrong. Me personally. So if you could sit back and stand by wrong, then you're gonna have to suffer the rules and consequences.
What's wrong with you? That's somebody would it be better if she married him and that's not who she really wanted to be with? And waste his time and then get a divorce like what they doing?
She should have been
I
with
be
that.
thinking, yeah.
Because
I
at
be
the end of
thinking
the
about
day,
stuff like
it's
that
a
too.
conversation. Just
They
like
wasn't
we're having a
together that
conversation
long to
now.
begin
If
with,
we say,
in my
hey,
opinion, anyway.
if we say, hey,
I
I
kind
think
of
that
agree
was
with
a
that.
yeah, I agree with that too. But at the end of the day, niggas, you know, he's
I think
Aquarius. Aquarius
she's one of
meant
those
for
people
hard,
that,
goddamn
like,
it.
she don't really have, all she do is model or whatever, so all this stuff, I think all of these relationships that she probably is really messing with them, some of them, but I think a lot of it is just so she could keep her name circulating, and a lot of this is set up, because it just be like, I mean, he could have proposed or whatever, not saying that it's not possible, but in the industry, it's hard to tell what's real, because they do be doing fake relationships just for publicity. I got a new album coming out, he had a new movie coming out, let me get in this is gonna look good, people gonna be talking about you, they're gonna watch some people that may have not known who you were, who she was, because of the relationship. Everywhere now, people
Yeah.
gonna check your stuff out.
I think he really liked it though.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
So.
You know.
But then again, who knows even what
Right.
they could tell us any story and be like, oh yeah, I proposed. This is why they never actually said anything.
He could be a dirtbag.
She never said. I didn't say that either.
No, I'm
That
saying he
doesn't
could
mean-
be though. He could be. You don't
Yeah,
know.
he could be, but that doesn't mean that. You know,
Could
I'm
be a
not
good
saying
guy,
that
could be
that's the
corny,
opposite.
She just
Yeah.
want future.
My boy Big Sean, we know him.
I don't think she
from
wants
school.
nobody
He
because
used to,
she knows that everybody
live in
is
Jersey.
after her.
Oh, word.
He used to live in Jersey.
He seemed like a good, like,
He said he's
you know,
he said
he don't got no kids.
Nah.
Yo, he one of those class X.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I mean? And a lot of women don't want that because he a corny dude or whatever. Like
That's
you know
what I'm saying.
mean?
Just
She's still
like
with Franklin,
there
or
could
they
be
broke
a
up?
good woman, but if she's not doesn't have all the
Nah, they
qualities
never
that
broke
you
up.
want,
Who?
or you're not
Her and
compatible with
Her and
that
Franklin?
person.
They
Yeah,
been
they
broke up. Yeah,
Who?
she was
Her
somebody
and Lori
else.
Harvey and
Oh yeah, they
Yeah,
broke up.
Franklin
That's what I'm
from
saying.
Who she with
There
now?
wasn't nobody right now. I don't think.
Oh.
But like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Every
She's
other
loading.
thing, she just she. I think so this is for publicity.
She's buffering.
she was in her life together.
Her food's buffering.
Can't be listening forever. End up like her mom, single, divorced.
She probably don't want. Like if you hear,
She don't, just like her mama.
Yeah, so if that's not what you want, then
But
why do
maybe
something?
she got
because
that
of what
black
other
snake
people-
moon.
Loneliness.
She got that black snake
You don't
moon.
want to be lonely either,
I
right?
Remember
mean,
that
that's
movie
the
seen
thing.
that?
She may not be
Motherfucker.
because what's
You saw that
lonely?
joint?
Lonely is I
you-
don't
if
have
you could call
anybody with
some-
me.
You saw
But
that
if you
shit?
could
That
call
cares about
somebody
me.
at
Yeah,
any
like
time
Black
for her, that might
That's
be good
crazy.
enough. Like if you
Exactly.
could just call somebody, if you could just call somebody and they're gonna pull up, and for some people that might be enough for them. Like if you always could call somebody, so you're never really going to be alone. But then on the other hand, you could be in a room full of people and still feel alone. It's
That's
a
a fact.
mindset. But just because you're not in a relationship, that doesn't automatically mean that you're lonely.
But you know what means you're lonely? If you're rushing to be in a relationship. If you can't stay single for more than
But
a
who
month,
chooses to be in a relationship? Who
I'm-
makes this decision? Usually the
The
man is
woman.
the one. She
So
agrees
you
to do it.
exactly.
But the man is the one, just like
he
a
can
marriage,
initiate
he's
it,
the
but you
one.
can turn it down.
Yeah.
So it
But-
doesn't go anywhere without the woman's approval, is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. And if it doesn't go anywhere without the woman's approval, and she's in relationships with
She
these
probably
celebrity
wanna
dudes,
She probably want to keep fucking.
She
Like,
do,
I'ma just-
she
so
do.
she'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna just
so that's
try
not
this
so that's
out.
not hope. Hope is it? Is she in her whole phase? Is what I'm asking.
don't
'cause
know,
I feel like
is
she's
that
in her
a-
whole
A
phase.
whole phase.
A
or
whole
is she
phase to
just
me.
a hoe?
Let me describe a whole phase.
I know.
Because
what
I don't think she's a hoe. I think she's in her whole phase. I think there's two different things of a woman being a hoe and a woman being in her whole phase. I feel like a woman that's in her whole phase had trauma. Trauma attaches with whole phase, right?
Or you were just taught wrong. No one gave you the guidance.
That's trauma.
So-
If
No,
you're not
trauma
taught
is
right, then
me.
you're gonna be taught. You're gonna experience things that's wrong, and it's gonna lead to trauma. So that's trauma still
Yeah, it's
because
gonna
you weren't
cause,
taught
it could
that. Yeah.
cause if you go through certain situations.
But
we don't know.
yeah, we don't know. I'm just speculating. But I feel like if she is the type of person that is just promiscuous with just how she is, she's like, yeah, I look good and I like to get fucked and I don't want nothing serious. That's a hoe. But I don't think that's what she wants. I think in her head she wants to get married one day. Not yet, but she wants. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I heard she was fucking with Future. Now we know what type of new Future is. We know.
I think that because when you're in the industry and then if you look like that, you're gonna have a lot of options, at least for sex or whatever. And some of them might wait
So
you
why
up
would
just
you
so
say-
they could.
why would
just
you
so
go
they
for the
could-
known
wait,
whores?
wait. So some people will wipe you up just so they could have constant access to your vagina until they're tired of it and then they'll move on. And she, because of the industry that she in, women could be that way too. And she's still rather young. I don't know exactly how old she is, but she appears to be rather young. She's probably not ready to settle down. It could be from trauma. And maybe she was like, if her mom is moving that way or whatever, she probably learned from her. Like, or I think the only
Melissa
reason
Ford is a
why
great example.
I think the only
I heard
reason
it.
why
Yep.
I think the only reason why women are hoes, are not hoes, rather, don't go through a whole thing because instead of giving into their desire, because we all want to have sex, like, let's just be real. But I think that a lot of women don't give into it or they pick certain people only because they're worried about the negative connotation behind it. They're worried about being labeled as a hoe. So, but that doesn't take away from them wanting to fuck. Like, if somebody's attracted, that don't mean you're gonna act on it, but you can look at somebody and be like, damn, I would fuck them. But you might not do it if you could because you don't want, depending on who the person is, you don't want the backlash and you don't want to be labeled that way. And in this society, people are more concerned about the way that other people perceive them than anything else. And they live their life based on what others are going to think of them.
Yo, could I ask you a question?
What they really want to do.
Do you think the root of the attraction is really the reason why the selection is so?
Yeah,
I'm gonna say no.
But I don't know. I don't really like Future, but all the other
no.
guys
But listen, listen what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the attraction. You're looking for certain qualities when you see the individual that you are attracted to in a man, regardless of what type of guy that you choosing them for a reason that's subconsciously you believe in, because you know how they say beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Why don't you just date people that you have access?
But hold on, but this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. For you, right, as a woman, what attracts you to a man is
not what the normal thing.
What is the normal thing?
Well, you have to be attracted to me, obviously.
But what attracts them? It's either it's
that's
physical,
what's gonna make you catch my attention.
But how?
Initially. And then once I get to know you, if there's a connection,
they're dealing with people with a certain status. You can automatically tell. You can automatically tell what the general sense of their attraction is.
That's just
their
because
attraction is more of security.
People date who they're around. I'm not dating celebrities.
Their attraction is.
I'm dating the people.
Listen,
you're saying a woman's attraction?
A woman's attraction is mainly security. So there's some, whether he's short, whether he's tall, whether he's whatever, it's a security.
Because of
and when they look good and they've had a track record of other women, that's security. Women want
that's based off of how much
some
money
type of
you
security.
If she's already in that industry, then she's gonna want people like that. If you're an average person, you're going to date people in your circle unless you go move somewhere with people that make more money and you're specifically trying to get that. You date inside your social economic circle where who you have access to.
Men do, women
it's not
don't.
security, it's just
Men
you
do,
have access to.
Men do, women don't. Because at the end of the day, men will be rich as fuck and still fuck a hood with her. It doesn't matter. But a woman of that high value is not doing that. If they meet them, but most of the time, if they're I'm saying if they meet someone that they don't just want to fuck, that's a regular person. Most of the time, there are only a few celebrities that are with that are married to or in a long-term relationship with someone that's a regular person, right? And most of the celebrities that we know are with someone famous. There are some that aren't. That's what I'm saying. So that ain't
the ones that
I'm talking about in their circle.
Most of them.
Yeah, but it's still a small percent.
And whatever.
And that's it. How many did you have to go through to find out one that you wanted to settle down with? That's
they
what I'm
always
saying. You're not just gonna
randomly,
and you have to be more selective when you're in the industry because you have to find someone that don't just want you for your money and that's not gonna take advantage of you. So they don't just they might fuck random chicks, but for them to wife them up a regular chick that they met at because where are they meeting you at? If they don't work, that's what I'm saying. Normally the natural thing, unless you just run into somebody, you have this crazy connection. I'm talking about a relationship or whatever. It's not going to be somebody from the hood if you're in the music industry. Unless you don't you have to go through a bunch of people to get to that to find that person. But the people that you're normally around are going to be the people in the industry if you're in the industry.
But
those are the people that you
in the industry.
I think
she has access to them though. That's her life where she lives.
She go to parties and stuff. But that's more pretty privilege than anything else, I think.
But again, if a regular person can have pretty privilege, but they will have to go to those places she already lived in that area. That's what I'm saying.
That's true.
I think once you're pretty, you get invited to
But
it.
yeah, that's-
Yeah, but you would have to go
But they
again.
know
And
her
that's
to
if you
go,
want
but you
to do
can't
that.
go even
But that's
if
what
you
I'm
wanted
saying for
to
me.
if you're not
I-
pretty. Like, you see what I'm
I
saying?
mean, you could
But
if
she
you're
want-
a woman.
but
it
she
doesn't
want-
really-
Now you got to be some type of track. If you're
You
just
gotta have
ugly
some
and
type
going
of
to
status.
Hollywood
And
parties,
she look good, but she dubbed the name of Harvey, so that's a popular, you know what I mean, person. Whether
Do
that's
you think that was a business move? Her taking the last name of Harvey
I
from
think
her
so.
mom?
I think so.
Mm.
If she don't, if you be talking to her and she don't give a, you know what I mean?
That's kind of crazy.
I think so. Could be.
I know Steve is like, what the fuck? But you know what? To be honest with you, this looked like the work of karma, bro. This looked like he did something in his life that's like, damn, now I gotta get divorced again. Because he got divorced again. He didn't get divorced once. I think he left his baby mama and did her dirty or some shit like that.
Yeah, I think it's his third wife.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like karma is gonna play a role in these situations.
And then when you're have that many, when people have man or woman, if you got that many ex-wives, then I'd be like, or ex-husbands,
giving a
like,
book about
it's not
relationships.
just, it's not just you, it's not just the other person every time. Like you gotta take accountability at that point. Like, why do you keep what is happening?
That's deep.
Melissa Ford, like, she be on the
On the JBP, shout out to the Joe Budden's podcast.
Yo,
Melissa Ford, what do you think about this? She said,
She's beautiful, but I don't know.
She
She's
said-
losing like a little bit.
she said she thinks that Ish, one of the other people that are on the show, is a misogynist.
Well, we
And
think
because
she's egotistical,
she
but
doesn't
she can't
use-
apologize.
And she doesn't use I don't
That's
even know
what we
what
think.
she was supposed to be
You think that? I
apologizing
think
for.
that.
That's what I'm confused about. Because that was something separate. Like, she called him misogynistic and they would talk about that because Joe Budden brought it up, but she was supposed to apologize for something entirely different. But I guess that's on the Patreon. I ain't subscribed to the Patreon because I'm not paying for that. Sorry.
No.
I'll watch it for free on YouTube.
YouTube.
Because they be releasing the clips.
Subscribe.
But yeah, she said he was, and then he said why. She was like, he'd be like, you always saying bitch and box. He was like, it'd be like bitch box, bitch box, bitch box. And then Joe Budden put a beat on it, and he was like, so are you saying his voice, yo, Joe Budden's voice is so, he
Got the
sounds
perfect
like he should do a
voice.
voiceover. Yeah, he was like, so are you saying that he should, so because he uses the word bitch and box, that he's misogynistic?
I think he hit.
And then she,
And I think that's why it bothers her so much on how Ish talks, because she likes Ish. That's my personal opinion. Because why care?
I don't really
I'm pretty
like
sure Joe
it.
talk crazy too.
Right.
Joe talk crazy.
I don't
A lot
really.
of
Well, she
people.
said
And
stuff
she-
about all of them.
But she ain't really going on nobody else like Ish.
She did. Y'all were talking. You didn't. She
We
went
did.
around the
Nah,
room.
I watched
She
it today.
said
That's why
something
I
about
brought it
everybody.
up. I watched a few
But
episodes.
Joe
Especially
did
Flip.
that because
Flip.
that was
She
how
got
it
Flip got a
started.
good one.
The reason why she says so about other people, that's how it started. But Joe is instigating. Why would you ask her that?
Cause Joe know he hit.
He said, he was like, I
Is Joe
whispered.
bad at
He
Ish?
was like, I whispered. He was like, I whispered in her ear during the podcast, and I was like, do you think Ish is misogynistic?
Oh,
And she
my
said,
God.
that's just how the
That's
conversation
wild.
started. Why are you asking her that? It's not like, it would be
Yeah, he know
different
the
if she was
answer.
like,
Nah,
You
bro.
know what she
I
gonna
seen
say.
I seen an earlier episode before they was at the really nice place.
yeah, and she
So-
had no shoes on.
Right,
And
right.
she-
Okay, let me
and
talk
he said he had
about
a
it. Let me talk about it. Let me talk
But I
about
think
it.
also,
Let me talk about
wait,
it.
before you say that, I think also she's a sex symbol. So,
Well, yeah,
this-
I'm
this
gonna
is
get to
what
that. I'm gonna get to
they
that.
want
Look,
her to
let
do.
me
But
talk
now
about
she be
that.
trying
Let
to
me talk
dial
about
it
that.
back now.
So I'm watching this because I really like stopped watching it for a little bit. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, after Rory and Moore.
But I
shout out to
watched-
Rory and
shout out
Moore.
to
I
Rory
like
and
that.
Moore. I watched it and I watched like an hour episode today. You know what I mean? I watched my little comic book drinks, which I want to talk about a little bit if we got some time. But I watched how she came up there looking fly, and she had a topic that I want to introduce to us, which is kind of awkward, uncomfortable topic for me to answer on camera, but I want to answer that question.
Oh,
So,
what makes you?
2 things that make it D hard, right? Pause. But I do want to bring that up because, and then I'm gonna ask it, my sister respectfully, for her 2 things that turns her on. Because I want people to hear this. I want people to know, like, you know what I mean? Now, what their discussion was crazy on a Sunday, right? So what their discussion was that, what turns you on, 2 things that turns you on, whatever. But she used the term D, you know what I mean? Now, their argument was based on why do men gotta call the female joint box or such, right? And I'm like, yo, why you gotta call it a D? Why can't you call it a P? Or why can't you say member or something like that? You know what I mean? We don't care, but that's the thing. Somebody cares. Somebody cares somewhere, right? They don't want to be disrespected. So you gotta think about everybody. The anomaly or whatever, it exists for a reason. So to respect everybody, you doing to others as you would like to be done unto you. So that's just how you keep it all regular.
Dick is an insult, like if you like
Right.
Dick.
So she's saying it like, y'all feel all sensitive because da da da. Women always try to correct it, and that made me think about the conversation with Amber Rose and the battle rapper,
Murder Mook.
Mm-hmm. When they was on Drink Champs, like the clash about women not wanting to be shamed for such and such and such, but men can be called the N-word and this and that and sorry and bums and da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
So you can shame us because we can take it, because it doesn't really, like my sister just said, it was a perfect example. But you don't really care about that. It's not the point.
Do you? I'm asking.
No,
I do.
for me personally, I got tough skin.
If she jokes about her
But-
erectile dysfunction, I'm gonna care.
But like for me, I got.
Like,
But that's what I'm saying. But I got tough skin. I got tough skin, so I know people can say things to hurt people. Hurt people. So I understand that. And
But you would feel away if you couldn't say anything back.
well, I know I can say something back, and I know I can walk away.
Because she's gonna get hurt.
The power.
If you say something to Melissa Ford about anything,
But
she's
that's what
gonna
I'm
take
saying,
it. She's gonna take it
because women are very self-conscious about themselves. They all have some, self-esteem issues. The most beautiful woman.
So is that fair?
Life's not fair. We
Is
move
that
on and
fair?
we
We're not talking about life.
If
We're talking
someone,
about that.
It's not fair.
If someone
Is it fair that
Is
Melissa
it fair
Ford?
that women can say what they want to say
Yes.
and men can't?
I
Yes.
think that
If you want
That's
to
fair.
say that, it's just like I said, it goes to the example that what my sister said. Do you really care about
I
that?
Yeah, I
care.
think that
That's what I'm
someone
saying.
acknowledges
If we
that
don't
something
care
is
about it,
bothering
but
them
that's
and
what I'm
you
saying.
care about that
It's
person,
doing to others as
yeah.
you would want to done to you. So don't say
You
it. if
can't
don't
do
want
it to her because she can't
But
equally
but that's what
accept
I'm
that
saying.
responsibility.
Women
That's
don't
why it's not fair, and
respect
that's why you have to stand
men.
on those principles and be
We
like,
live in a
yo.
society, in the Western society,
I
that
disagree.
that makes it to a level where
Some
it's
women don't
okay.
respect
It's
men.
okay for women not to respect men. You understand what I'm saying?
Some women,
they
that's okay.
they advertise. Listen to what I'm saying.
I'm
They
listening.
advertise women to not respect men.
But do you care
But I'm-
out of the
listen to what I'm
woman
saying.
that you dealt with? Do you
No,
want one of
we're
those?
talking
Hold on,
about-
let me ask you
we're
this.
just talking about-
Do you want a woman that's gonna respect you, or do you say because the way the world is and
Well,
the way
remember what you
women
said
don't
about-
respect
remember your
men,
point
it
about-
doesn't matter if she respects
Remember
you.
your point? Remember your point about what they watch is how they affected. Da, 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 da.
You're saying
I'm talking about
you're,
the same
you're
shit.
generalizing all of them. I'm saying there's a difference. It's a difference between those women that watch that shit and the women that don't. There's a difference between the women that
You can-
respect you
you can
and the
choose.
women that won't. So if you say you don't care
You can
and a
choose.
bitch disrespects you, guess what? You say you didn't care, my nigga.
You can
So
choose.
it does matter, bro.
But listen to me. It matters to you, obviously.
It matters to you too, bro. Because you don't want a disrespectful woman.
Listen. I like a woman with a little bit of spice.
That's
Understand what I'm
spice.
saying?
That's not disrespect.
But check it out. What you're saying, I understand. I'm not.
Too.
Nah, but listen,
debating, but
niggas
you
is
agree,
niggas. Nah, I'm debating, but niggas is different. Understand what I'm saying? Because
Okay,
like I said initially, I have tough skin.
Okay.
So there's certain things that I will allow, and it depends on if we can reciprocate that. You understand what I'm saying?
That's respect, but you just said most of these women don't have respect.
But no,
and
that's like,
normal. So you can't say that's normal and then you say, oh, I want respect.
Chick come in the house.
She has to come in a certain way. Bro, you gotta make up your mind.
Chick
Do
come in
you
the
want
house.
a disrespectful woman or do you want a respectful woman?
Listen,
and if you want a respectful woman, then you have to hold women accountable for being respectful.
A respectful woman, listen to me.
I'm listening.
A respectful woman is not gonna say, what you trying to eat, motherfucker?
Absolutely.
I don't care if a woman says, what you trying to eat, motherfucker.
Because you're expecting all women to be disrespectful.
No,
bro, but that's what you said. We could rewind it.
That's
If
why
you said that it didn't matter, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Listen to me. I didn't say it don't matter. That's why I said it's
what
okay.
Are you saying doesn't matter if a woman is respectful?
Because you're saying.
I'm asking you specifically. What are you saying is it doesn't matter? What doesn't matter specifically?
I'm not saying it doesn't matter about that. I'm saying it doesn't matter about what we're talking about. What we're talking about is if a woman, what did we say?
We were talking about if a woman is disrespectful.
No, but we went on a tangent.
We were legitimate talking about Melissa Ford. We said it's not fair. Okay. I said it's not fair if a woman comes out and says certain things. And I said, is it fair? And you said it's not fair, but guess what? The world isn't fair. So I said, okay, that means that it doesn't matter if a woman is disrespectful. And you said it don't matter, bro.
No.
It does matter, bro.
No. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if a woman is disrespectful. Okay. It depends on what you define as disrespect. Okay. I don't think it's harsh. You don't think if we're on the same understanding that when she says, what you trying to eat, motherfucker? And I could say, bitch, I want some sloppy joe with cheese on that shit.
That sounds equal. That's not what we was talking
but that's why I said, do you think a respectful woman would say, what you trying to eat, motherfucker? And you said no. And I said, I don't care if they say that because of how I'm using it in the context of what I'm saying. I don't want a disrespectful woman, no. But if we could talk like we from the hood,
interchangeably, which I don't agree with that.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm from the hood, my nigga. Like let's keep it 1,000. Let's keep it 1,000. I'm from the hood. So I want because I gotta have to tap in on this. I'm a hood nigga, so I don't care if a woman is a little bit rough, but she can't be trying to fight me. She can't be trying to fight dudes and trying to start stuff, cause she could be able to control it. But when she get mad, and I understand. But if she get mad and she gotta put her hands on me, I don't respect that. So I want to be clear. There's certain levels of things that I'm gonna tolerate and things that I'm not gonna tolerate. Do I define it as disrespect? It's because I live in a world where certain things aren't disrespect. It's just how people communicate.
So what is disrespect?
Disrespect is somebody stepping
verbally. What is a verbal disrespect coming from
a verbal disrespect is a white person calling me
coming from a woman, not a white. I'm talking about the girl you're dealing with.
The girl that I'm dealing with. So
what's a verbal?
So no. I want a specific. Yes, I want a specific example of disrespect verbally. So this is from my level of disrespect to a woman. Disrespect to a woman is
from a woman, not to.
From a woman to me is she straight up doing something with another dude like
that's actions. That's not verbal. Verbal is talking. So what did she say verbally that is disrespectful to you? Disrespectful. I guess calling me a BAN, I guess maybe. Okay. I think that could be disrespectful. And we'll probably get into an argument. We'll probably, you know what I mean, probably be crazy about that. Okay. I don't like that. Don't call me the P. Okay. I guess that's disrespectful. Mm-hmm. But if I'm talking to a girl that's a comedian and sometimes she do that, but
I'll be like, yo, chill, like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be mad, I'm gonna be like, chill, and she gonna see how upset I get about it, and then she gonna change that.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, you can't control what a comedian says. So I agree with what
I
you're
know.
saying.
But
Yeah.
what are you talking about? When have you? Why are you using that as an example?
Because I don't
Are you
think
saying
no,
a real
I don't think no
comedian, or
normal
is
chick
she just
gonna be
like-
just coming home calling dude BAN, bro. Like BAN is a bitch ass. You know what I mean? So no respecting woman that respect her dude is gonna be just be calling you that. Like, you feel me? Like something like that. Like anything that's a joke, I can take a joke. I can take a joke, but it's not funny when I say that joke back to you. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like stupid ass C. You know what I mean, or something like that. And or, you know,
that C is hard.
yeah, like you
That's
know what I
she
mean.
said, I don't like that. She's like box schools with. All right, can
No.
I say?
Oh yeah. I think I land my plane pretty much. You know where I'm coming from with that.
Definitely.
So if someone acknowledges that something you say or do bothers them and that wasn't your intention, you should change that behavior if it's not against your morals and that person matters to you. If you don't care about the person, whatever. And yeah, it should be all do unto others. So yeah, if you're saying that you don't like that the use of that word in reference to women, then you shouldn't use the same on the other side of like. But also, if he didn't, the conversation is not about, because he never said, like, if he mentioned it and said, oh, I don't like if you say, but she don't go around just, obviously she don't just be randomly just saying dick.
See, doesn't that fall under the lines of a relationship though? Like a real relationship. Like if
No,
you
but
verbally
this
feel
way, I
a way
wanna
about
finish.
how I speak,
Wait, I
right?
want to finish though.
It matters. My bad.
So, if he said, like I said, if that topic came up, like, oh, you're saying D too much or whatever, please refrain from the use of that in reference to men. I don't like it, it's offensive, blah, blah, blah. But the man's not going to say that. If he said that and then she's like, well, F what you think, this is what I'm going to say, blah, blah, blah. And also, she didn't tell him that he had to stop saying that, but they work together because you asked, is that like a relationship? A business relationship, even if you don't care about that person or y'all just working together, it's strictly just business, you should respect how they feel about things. But I don't think she's telling him that you need to stop saying it. Like I said, Joe is being an instigator. Joe brought up, he asked her, do you think Ish is a misogynist? And that was her response. And then he got on the show and told them what she said. So it's not like she said, oh, I don't like you, I hate that you do that and you need to stop and I don't want to be around you. She still comes to work. She probably never would have said that had Joe not asked her that question. So I don't think she really expects him to change it. It's just the truthful answer that she gave when asked the question.
I respect that.
But I think in a business relationship, if someone does, like I said, if someone tells you like, something that you do is bothering me, you should consider that because you work together. Depending on what it is, that could mess up your business relationship.
True. I believe a little bit different on that. Like if I'm working with somebody, girl or boy, man or woman, see what I'm saying? We're gonna talk work shit, you know what I mean? And we're gonna have fun and we're gonna leave. If you have a problem specifically and you come to me specifically, and we can, depending on who you are, because I don't have respect for everybody I work with, but because of the job, because of me not wanting to get fired, because I can be cordial with people I don't like, right?
So there was like, just a little question. So there was like an incident with these people that you say you don't respect and that's why you feel how you feel, or you just...
I'm just talking about the Ish and Melissa Ford situation.
No, I know.
I feel like their situation, the reason why I said it was a personal situation is she said, when she went around the room, she said specific things that like people may not like about their character, but we know, once you know somebody, you know what triggers them. You see what I'm saying? And women are good with that. Women know, like a woman that's into you or that has dealt with you knows how to piss you the fuck off. True or false?
Yeah, anybody that's
So in this situation, I could be
And
wrong.
it hurts more from them than someone else.
Exactly. In this situation, how he handled it, how she said what she said, and how how Joe Button was encouraging it, it just seems like they had a history. Joe knows about their history, but we can't out the history, so we're just gonna,
It's a nice conspiracy.
you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying it just seems that way. You know what I mean?
It's definitely a conspiracy.
I mean, he light skinned.
Yeah, it's just,
I mean, no shade.
yeah,
I just don't like the implication that and she is a little flirty, so some of it she brings
She's
on
fine.
herself.
She's
flirty,
But
it's
I,
specific.
but I don't like the implication that just because anytime a woman is like with men or she works together or that, always the question like, do you think they smash or do you think? And they could have nothing going on. Some people just like to flirt. I flirt with people sometimes that I'm never gonna do anything with, never have, and don't. I just get like that sometimes. Or if you're an attractive person, I flirt with people I work and never done. But you might think but there's a line. I'm not saying I want to.
So let me
give
ask
you
you
the
this.
talk or something, but I'll just play around and say like dirty jokes or something. Someone might perceive that to be like, oh, y'all got something going on. But
Let
in
me
reality,
ask you this.
I'm just.
Have you ever felt disrespected by somebody that you work with on how he refers to other women?
Yes, when I worked at this job, I used to work at this group home like a few years ago, and there was this dude there, and I think that he was very sexist.
Okay.
Like he would always, and the other women, like he would just always say stuff like, "Oh, you need to be." Now I don't know, I don't think there's nothing wrong with like cooking and cleaning and stuff like that, but his ideology around women was like, that's all you like. It was like men are better and you're like I don't know. It just like he had this disdain for me. He always made like negative comments or like try to like insinuate certain things or whatever. Like I don't think he ever said bitch or anything, but it's just his demeanor towards women. Like he didn't. Like, value them.
So you told him that you felt this way, or you just felt this way?
It was somebody reported him. Another woman reported him, and we had to give like statements on what they were like. Do you think that he's sexist and blah blah blah? And I answered truthfully. So I didn't really care. He was aggravating. He would be, I don't know. He would be saying little stuff too, or trying to flirt or whatever, or saying, and on top of his attitude, and I didn't really like him, and I kind of wanted him to get in trouble. Otherwise, I wouldn't. I just would have been like, I don't know. I didn't really say nothing like that. I was just like, yeah, I guess sometimes he says certain stuff, but I don't care. I just do. Like it didn't. I still came to work. It wasn't.
So you wasn't gonna go get him out of trouble unless somebody else did. You would have just like,
no,
okay,
I wasn't gonna.
you're sexist.
I just answered when they asked me how did I feel.
I respect that.
But if it was, I just didn't like him anyway because, like I said, he would just get on my nerves. Because maybe that was part of it, but other things that he did, he was just annoying. Like, and that too, that's what it was. He wouldn't do shit. This is what I felt like. Because when we would work overnight in the group home, the residents would be asleep or whatever, and we had to like clean up, and we had to do room checks every hour. We had to prepare the meal for the next day, like. Make a tall salad or something, or prepare the whatever. If there was something that they were gonna make for dinner tomorrow or whatever, we had to get that ready or whatever. And we could make ourselves stuff to eat too. Like they had food in there or whatever, so you could like cook if you wanted to make something or whatever. And he would just be saying comments about that, like, oh, like that's what I like over there cooking or saying little stuff, and then he wouldn't do anything. That's why I didn't like him. I'm like, yeah, I just said yeah because I wanted him to get in trouble because he would just sit there. Only thing he would do the room checks, like, cause once every hour, so we would switch, or he would just do that. Sometimes if you work, cause it was supposed to be 2 to, I don't know. 2 to 4 or something, like the ratio of people, so there was always one, there was supposed to always be one other person. Sometimes you will be stuck on the ship by yourself or whatever, but.
Do you believe this is sexist for calling vagina box?
No, I don't like when the guys be saying bitch all the time and they be like, and that's just what they use to refer to everybody, but it doesn't bother me to the point where, and I don't think that means that is how some people talk. Like they'll be like this bitch that da 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 da, but they're not saying it in that way. But I wouldn't want to be referred to that way, and I don't call myself a bitch. I don't be like I'm that bitch or whatever. So I don't refer to myself that way, so I don't want nobody else calling me. But when guys in conversation, I've heard them. I have mentioned it to guys before, like just mentioned it, like why did that be a bitch or whatever, like, and it don't be a big deal. I just ask them like, why do you always like that's what you say?
So let's talk specifics though. Did he say bitch or did he say box?
He said both. She said he's your constant use of those words.
So bitch and box.
Yeah.
Damn.
She said that's all you say, and then she was like bitch box.
That's
Joe Pena. He's like boo boo boo, bitch box, bitch box, bitch box. And Ish was mad. He's just shaking his foot.
He was tight. You could tell. He was big bad.
It's cute.
That's another reason I think it bothered her so much. Cause she's like, yo, you would be even more attractive if you didn't talk like that.
I don't care though. That's what I'm saying.
I know you don't care.
Bro, I mentioned. I guess I care to a certain degree because I'm a woman and I don't. I think if you call yourself, then it's different. There are women that be like, I'm that bitch, I'm the bad bitch, and all that. I don't talk like that. So I think it depends on the. So that's why it's kind of offensive to me. But I don't look at you. You have to do other stuff than just say that for me to be like, oh, you're misogynistic because you're saying bitch. Because I say that when I talk sometimes, even though I don't, like when I'm talking about someone, but I don't mean it that way either. I'll be like this bitch, like I'm telling a story.
Are there bitches to you? Do you believe that
that's not
there's
sometimes,
no bitches?
I think it's so, I'm so used, yeah, there are, but I'm saying it's usually something, like if I'm telling a story to someone about something that happened, I'm not thinking about the person like that. I think it's stuck in my head now because the use of the word is so prevalent. It's like, so it naturally comes out even, but I still don't refer to myself that way. And I don't be like, hey, bitch, to my friends. Like, I don't do that. But I have caught myself when I'm telling a story or telling someone something, depending on what happened. But I'm still not looking at them like that. I'm just saying, let me tell you what this bitch did. She said blah, 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 but I don't mean it in that way, and I wouldn't go be like you're a bitch to the person. I'm just telling a story, and I think, like I said, like I say nigga too, and I don't really like, because I think I shouldn't use it but I also don't care if someone that says nigga. Like I've seen like people get offended by that and they want, like, I mean, I guess if you're using it that way, but then I feel like the word means what the word means. So I really think people try to change.
People have different definitions.
Yeah, but it's one true definition, and that's it. People try to make. We
is
didn't
it really
create. People made it that, but we don't create.
Niggas is supposed to be kings. So why does one get overlooked and the other one is?
Because this is how you say it.
Because of how it makes us feel.
Nah, that's because of how you say it. They tried to change it around to make it because Negus is spelled Negus. And the word that we made is spelled Niggas.
I'm pretty sure.
And the word that they say is Nigger.
I'm pretty sure.
So it could be a derivative. It could be like that Latin thing or whatever. We could take it that far.
But that would mean that they changed the definition.
Right.
What came first?
But see, the word is not.
I don't think so. That's here, but in Africa, where niggas was kings.
But Negus.
You know what I'm saying?
Negus. Negus. So that's what I'm saying. Like even still, like if we're gonna say that the derivative is what they're trying to say, how did they get that term to say it against us?
Perversion.
I don't
just like look at the swastika. The swastika is a peace symbol, right? And then the Nazi Germany took that peace symbol and turned it against us. Now when certain people see the swastika, it means this. But at the end of the day, does that nullify that? Like, look at the fucking rainbow. Oh, excuse me. The rainbow, right? The rainbow is just supposed to be the color spectrum of the lights and shit. Now, all of a sudden, it represents a whole community that we are a part of. So now it's like, damn, we can't let our kids see rainbows and be cool. Nah, because now there comes with something that, you see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I feel like we need to start taking back the definitions of these words to nullify the effects of it. Because you can, but you have to all agree to that. Because everybody's not all in agreement.
So it starts from home, like I always say. The attack is at home.
And that's why
a lot of times, and I say like you can only change what you can change.
True.
So yeah, it's great, it's beautiful, it's rainbows and unicorns to try to fix all of these things in this mass scale, but we have to understand that some people are separatists, some people are unified, some people they're just pro-black and that's what it is, you know what I mean? So you can't put everybody together because everybody is so different in our culture pot. So it's like it's hard for us to really like be on one accord. And they always say this, like we're not a monolith. Yeah, we're not a monolith society of people. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. I wanted to say that word. We're not a monolith society of people. So because of that, we see how other cultures and other communities connect with each other. They have the bodegas and they have the poppy store and they have all that.
We're being programmed to fight each other for survival.
There's a war. Yeah, there's a crab in they call it the crab in the bucket. It kind of is that. But then there's other people in our culture that believe that some of our people are just lazy and they need to get their head out their behind, you know what I mean, or whatever. But there's a reason for behind it. Just like I said, the reason for the women to be attracted to this guy that's short, or this guy that's tall, or this guy that's handsome, or this guy that's ugly is because of security. That's what you're attracted to. You're attracted to his sense of security, whether it's the resources that he can provide, the respect that he gets from his peers, something that attracted you to him in the way that he controls the room. That's why you're fucking with such and such. You know what I mean? But it's just like that with our people. There's some people that are like this or whatever, but in order for us to be on the same page, we all have to have showing each other like, okay, look, we made it work. He said, yo, how many people in your neighborhood own their own business? And we got into an argument. And I said, how many, people in your culture? So I said, not many, you know what I mean? He said, there's thousands of businesses that's, black owned businesses in America. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, in America, but not in these terrible communities. And they're being supported by other cultures. We don't really help support ourselves unless we're in the South. Oh, you need to come down here. Why do I have to relocate? That's what I'm saying.
Oh, he's down there?
Right. He's in Charlotte. So I'm saying like, you got all that black love and that culture and all of that, and people want to embrace that. You know what I mean? But we need that everywhere, and they have it because of the roots. They know the roots.
Even when
it was down here.
You do own your own. There's always a white person that's at the top. There's no one who owns
There's
YouTube,
competition in every niche, yeah.
Who owns all these, like, that we're talking about, all this stuff. So even if you're an entrepreneur and you're working for yourself,
I love this discussion.
The white man is
Let's
still
talk
the
about
one.
this shit.
There's no black person at the top of everything. Like, there's
You're
always
right. That was my
someone
argument, right.
over them.
Right.
So even at the highest
Okay,
level,
so
you're still under someone, under a white person.
Let me speak to that point. So I'm an entrepreneur, right? So like I teach people how to start businesses and stuff like that, and I learn myself so that I can show other people how to do it. So that's a little other thing that I do, another piece of crime that I do, right? So in any case, what she's saying is true, right? But what's another thing to that is what we were talking about, another discussion that we got into is when you get this money in, what do you do with it? Like I've gotten $7,000, $5,000 at a time. I've gotten like large amounts of money at a time and it just disappeared, right? The thing about it is like when you're working on a business, you gotta pay for inventory, you gotta pay the people that work for you, you gotta do all of these different things with all this money. So when you're getting that $7,000, you actually probably end up getting $200. You need to be able to make $15,000, $20,000, 30,000. So when you get to the bigger amount, it's the less money that you got to throw out and the more money that you get to retain as return of investment. So everything that you get from the business has to go into the business. You only take the profit, and your profit is very small most of the time, especially when you're starting off. That's why businesses don't last more than 5 years. But what I've noticed is that a lot of people in our culture specifically, which was my discussion with my boy, is that a lot of people in my culture specifically don't have financial literacy, which is why they have the inefficiency and the drive that I think you need to push yourself and keep going, knowing that you have to do sacrifices. He argues is discipline. And I'm like, they go hand in hand, because in order to have that discipline, you need to persevere through the times, through the stalemates, through the hard times, through the failures. You're gonna have times when you're trying to start your business over the course of that first 365 days where it's learning, which is gonna probably be 30% of the year. Then another 20% of the year is gonna be you actually applying what you're doing, and then the other 50% of the year is pretty much you just trying to make sure everything stays together, and probably not making no money for months. So these are strategies that you got to get past, and a lot of people get discouraged, they quit, and they're like, yo, I can't do this, and then they just go back to work. So it's like it's not as easy as it sounds, which is why it's only 1% of people that are conglomerately successful in industries. So there's going to be competition. The way that you edge the competition, which I tell people, is become a disruptive organization, a disruptive industry within the industry, a disruptive company, within the industry. The only way to do that is to identify, well, there's a lot of ways to do it, but the main and most effective way to do it is to identify a problem and to solve that problem. Produce something that solves that problem at a mass scale, and then you start to get people that enjoy your product, get reviews, case studies, people that's talking about how good your product is to this market or whatever, and why we like it better. You may have to have a financial edge where people don't pay as much for your product. That's a little bit better. That solves a problem. You know what I mean? These are things that's going to take time. That's why businesses don't last for 5 years. Because you got to have discipline, right? But you have to have drive, because that first year you ain't going to be making no money. The second year you're probably going to make a couple dollars. And the third year you're probably just going to be making enough, but you're not going to really make enough to like do everything. You're going to be maintaining, staying afloat, probably doing another job while you're doing that. Unless you got a whole community of people, because a lot of people can't do it without a team. So it's like that learning part is the most important part, and that's what a lot of people skip. Like, I did do it yourself, right? But I learned for thousands of hours before I actually applied it. And I had to take the right steps, which cost tax money and all of that stuff, and you know, certain things, insurance and having an entity or what have you, whatever. You know, you have to have all of that to be an actual business. But anybody could start a business and start it in less than a week and start making money in less than a week if you provide some type of service. And you can do something so small as having to Google my business page. All you need is an address, and you can make money under the table before you even start, you know what I mean, getting taxed on it. Now, I'm not telling people how to be sneaky, but a lot of people, like I said, they don't have the drive. And to be out there and hustle and really make that money, the internet gives you an edge, such an edge, that if you know how to market and swing your stuff the right way, you can make a lot of money. But the idea of making a lot of money doesn't really come to everybody. Everybody is just like, yo, I want to make something. I don't know how to make this amount of dollars. People thinking about millions of dollars, but you don't know what to do with millions of dollars. So try to make what you can make and manage what you can manage and take those risks. When a person becomes a millionaire or somebody wins the lottery, they want to buy a house. They want to buy a car, right? But they're not thinking about how much money they have and being able to maintain those liabilities, right? But even that, but hold on. With making that purchase, listen, we're making that purchase, right? To buy that house, land, any type of thing that you're doing, you have to have a goal in mind. That risk has to have some type of goal. So when you buy this, you have to already have planned around whatever that goal is and have enough capital to back that goal or that thing.
Like a farm.
So
You can like sell
the maintaining, but the maintaining thing is how you're losing money. So all that money that you just got, you're losing it while you're maintaining. Because remember,
you're still working.
everything takes. You have to be still working, and that was what we were saying. You can't just quit and just try to do that. You know what I mean?
But it's gonna be harder.
That's drive. That's the conversation. So it's like you gotta have that drive.
Because you can't.
Because you gotta keep going. You can't stop. You gotta keep grinding. You gotta keep hustling. And like I said, it's gonna be stealth, but it's gonna be times where you're not making no money. You're losing more than you're making. You know what I mean? So when you're doing that, you have to understand that financial mind state, which a lot of people don't have. They don't know how to keep $1 for a week.
Some people can't even save, or don't make enough to save $500 a month. Well,
Everybody does.
Most.
Everybody does. That McDonald's, that was that $5 that you could have saved. You could have made something at home. Like
500.
that becomes 500. It's all about patience and denial of gratification.
I didn't say me.
I'm not saying you. But from what you said to the point of what you just said, that takes time to build dedication and drive to be like, yo, I'm not gonna.
They make money and then they're.
But even still, you can still budget certain things. You can budget the McDonald's in. You have to have discipline to save a certain amount of money. Out of what you get paid.
Most
that
people
disposable
are
income that people are spending is the money that they can use for the financial risk to make no return of investment.
Some people will make a certain amount of money and then they'll get an apartment that's way more than what they really could afford. So now
that's
they're
just
living
like
check
with the
to check.
house.
But you can find a cheaper apartment that looks just as good. You might have to drive a little further. You might have to
that
go
same
to another
person
town. That might save you $300 a month and be just as nice. But people want, and then you want this car. You want a $500 car, no, but you don't need.
Talking bigger. That same person that bought that apartment and spending all that money for that apartment could have bought a house, right?
Yeah,
got a loan. Hold on, let me finish, please. Let me
finish.
And
right. That's a mortgage.
Right. Let me finish. Yeah. So they doing that, right? They could have bought that house. They could have bought that house. Listen, they could have bought that house as a duplex because they single or whatever. Probably, you know what I mean? They could have bought that as a duplex and had a tenant and been making that money and then had a little bit of what you call passive income as long as they paying whatever they're supposed to be
paying.
But
like you say, you have to plan for that. And you don't just.
It's all about, and a lot of people jump the gun because they think it's just an easy win.
That's when it fails.
When you win the lottery and you buy that house, you got to think about how you're gonna keep that house because you never had this money before. You don't have any engine running. So now you just bought this house that costs however much it costs, and now in the 5 years, 6 years, you hit.
Insurance.
5, 6 years, you hit. That money ran out.
Taxes.
You don't know.
If something need to be fixed, you gotta fix it.
Oh, we still going?
No. I say you're done knowing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, we still go.
Nah,
Let me ask
tap
a
me
question. So Ish and Joe were having like a disagreement. He's always arguing because Ish, he didn't. I guess his lawyer came to Joe and with the terms he's an employee of the Joe Budden podcast.
Yep.
So he was like, she came to him with to add a clause into the contract that says I can quit whenever I want without any repercussion. And he was like, because you can fire me whenever you want. Like I don't have, there's no recourse for that. There's no protection for me. And then he said, from my standpoint, I'm in the what is the houses? What are the houses? What do you call that?
What?
When you flip houses he's in real estate or he has like property, he has tenants or I don't know what he said. He got some business. He said he makes a lot of money doing that. Maybe not the same amount as Joe, but it's a substantial amount of income. So he had to take a loss to be there the amount of days a week that he had to be there. He's losing a substantial amount of money because he's not able to dedicate as much time as he could normally or whatever. So he's saying because I'm risking by being here, you can, not saying that you will, but you can fire me whenever you want. Why can't I have the same recourse? Because in a normal job, in a 9 to 5, you don't, they're not gonna sue you if you quit your job. But in that type of industry, it is different. Like, because they could be like, oh, you were supposed to be in this contract for 5 years or whatever, and then doesn't mean he will, but you have the option to do so. So why can't I have the same, why can't I feel protected? And he didn't bring it up, it was his lawyers, I don't know if he, or whatever, but they were just talking about it, because he's like, that's stupid, he's basically saying no, like, I'm not going to put that clause.
That sounds like Rory and Maul all over.
Yeah, and that's what they kind of mentioned that.
Oh man, maybe Rory and Maul wasn't wilding them.
I think Joe is he has it. I don't know.
Say
I like
it.
Joe as an artist.
Me too.
He has things that he needs to work on.
Talk that shit. He ain't never gonna work on it.
And I've been to do that since, like, from watching him on Love and Hip Hop and the way he is, and then seeing him on the show, like, he's very, how to be the center of attention. He doesn't listen when other people speak, and like, he does shit, like, he'll literally, he does this, he'll distract you while you talk, like, oh, this is a dialogue, let me speak, or whatever you said. The person sitting there, they're not saying that. As soon as they start talking, now you're like, bring that fruit over here. Like, are you for real? Like, why are you doing that? Like, and it's like, he lets you talk. Why? And he does this all the time because he never wants to take accountability for anything.
Does he do that with everybody, or
yes.
Does he do that with people he know he can do that to?
He do it with everybody because that's just the type of
So
person
he does that to
is.
Jim Jones. He oversteps Jim Jones. But Jim Jones is trying to make a point.
The people that I've seen him interact with, I've never seen him speak with Jim Jones.
Jim Jones is on the show. Like, people who's on the show. Like, does he do it with the guests is what I'm asking. Because it sounds like he does it to the panel. He doesn't do it to the...
It depends on what comes up. It's usually during a disagreement. If they're just having general conversation or whatever, it's during a disagreement or something happens, he doesn't want to take accountability. Like, there was another time when Ish, because he lied from Ish's perspective, because he was like, I would never entertain.
Oh yeah, another person female, or another person woman.
Yeah, or their ex, or anybody that, I wouldn't entertain. And he was like, that's not true, because you was smoking hookah with my ex-girl 9 years. Or whatever.
I mean, that's cut and dry.
And he was like, and he said, I don't care about it because that was a long.
I got you.
I have some.
You got some? Oh.
He said, my ex-girlfriend of 9 years, but he's been not with her no more. He's with somebody else. But he just acknowledging that you saying that, you going hard and saying, oh, I don't, but you did. Because you were smoking hookah at your house with my ex-girl. But they never talked about it, apparently. This is the first time that he brought the shit up. Because he found out from the girl later on or something that he was like, he was like, yeah. So he wouldn't say, like, I don't know what happened or why the girl was there. He was like, and if you talk to her, then you would know. I stood on exactly what I said.
Melissa Ford can't admit when she was wrong, and Joe also couldn't admit he was wrong.
And he jumped around, and then he started insulting him. He was like, you sensitive ass nigga. He was like, you do care, because why would you bring it up now? Instead of just saying, or okay, but I don't know the whole story because he wasn't really getting into it. So maybe, because from what Joe was saying, what I got was that if you know the whole story, or she told you what happened, when she came, like, it's basically like, I did stand on that. I'm like, bitch, you're bugging. Or I said, if I see somebody or somebody try to, or whatever, somebody want to get my friends or whatever, like, I'm gonna look at her like she's a fucking alien. So if you actually hold her story, then you would know that I stood on that. So I don't know what, but then he was like, you was smoking hookah, so you let her in your house. Nobody can't just come in your house and blah, 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 but he don't know. So maybe, but that's just one example. He do be doing that, and then every time when somebody try to tell him he's wrong, he'll start talking shit about them, insults, and he'll try to change the subject, or he just keep interrupting just for the sake of interrupting. He's not actually adding anything to the conversation. Like, he's just trying to choke them up and stop them from talking. And I'm like, you just say Because sometimes what I do is I be like, you were wrong. Just saying, even if he obviously do care because he feels some type of way, but he really was just pointing out the fact that you lied. But he's saying, I didn't lie because I stood on what I said, if you know the whole story. Because did she tell you why she came over there? And did she tell you? Like, of course not. And then you call him sensitive. Now you use the shaming tactics or whatever because he just said, but okay, but again, I don't know the whole story. But I think Joe does that a lot. Like, he just doesn't.
I think he's a wonderful entertainer.
Yeah.
On his podcast, he knows how to stir the pot. You know what I mean? Which is good. It gets the rating. The message is a little skewed up, but I kind of got the gist of what they were saying, which is people lack accountability in it. And what he was really saying is that society has it in a way where it's acceptable for women to not take accountability, and it's not acceptable for men to not take accountability. And we identify that when we see these shows and we see people act out and we see all these actions with these celebrities or people that's on social media or even regular people, where we see it enough to realize that this is widely accepted amongst society. And we need to put a cap on it. Either we're gonna put a cap on it because we talk about it a lot, but either we're gonna put a cap on it and saying, listen, this is how we move forward from this type of behavior. This is what we do in our relationships and with our families and whatever. This is how we control this. We teach our young ladies to act like ladies, and we teach our young men to behave like men. But the way that we do it is by being the example of what we want them to be. It's easier said than done because there's years of trauma, there's years of us having these things. Like I said, I don't think it's disrespectful for a woman to say, what you want to fucking eat tonight. You know what I mean? It's okay for them to say that to me as long as we understand that to me it doesn't matter because that's how I talk. So it's okay. But I know a lot of people will find that masculine or disrespectful for a woman to behave that way. But if I got a woman that's down to earth, that sees things the way that I see, that we connect with, then that's perfect. That's the end to me. Some people
so
might
you don't consider it masculine as she talks to you how she wants.
I think society has
not society. You specifically.
Well, I'm gonna answer that.
He only thinks masculine if it's referring to him in a derogatory, like you fucking motherfucker.
But not even that because like. Well, hold on, listen. I'm gonna answer that directly. I'm gonna say yes, right? I think it is disrespectful. Right? Or a woman to say certain things like that. I think it is masculine, right? The problem is you're not trying to hurt me.
So you're saying it's a problem. Why is it a problem?
That's the problem because that's the way that I feel like it is, and it may be opposed to what should be correct. You know what I mean? So I don't want to preach this out there and saying like, yeah, it's acceptable behavior or whatever. But I'm telling you, for me, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. Just like she may, argue. Like, we have to be able to accept, like, agree to disagree. Some people may be a certain way, and some people may be a certain way. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. Sometimes I like the wrong. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm the type of dude that'll mess with that baddie, knowing all the consequences that come with dealing with the baddie. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Maybe you might want to dumb it down. Maybe you might want to find a woman that's like this before you find a girl that's like this. That's okay. I also understand that a man has to become the best version of themselves and be confident within themselves enough to be able to approach a woman on that level. If you are that, then do it. Don't hold back. You know what I mean? But understand, there's things that's going to come with that. And can you handle what's going to come with that? Is it going to hurt you? Is it going to break your little heart? You know what I mean? Gonna feel some type of way after or whatever. Think about all of that before you make that decision. I'm well aware of the consequences, and I do it anyway. You know what I mean? That's like.
Don't you think that's harder than you're putting yourself in
Again, this is me.
Well, let me ask this.
I'm letting them ask, but this is me.
Don't you think it's harder to put yourself in a situation where you know? Let me finish. Where you know that somebody isn't gonna be feminine with you at times that you may want that.
No.
Okay, so
No.
why isn't it harder than dealing with somebody that is feminine than versus dealing with somebody that comes
Because
with
I've already been used to it. So I'm desensitized to it being anyway. Now if it's softer, I can accept it, but it's not hard by any means to me. I can deal with a woman that can talk a certain type of way because when you a strong enough dude, like a lot of women say, women will submit to you. They will act right, so to speak. You know what I mean? If you do it. And sometimes I do it or it's get the fuck out. I don't have a problem with telling a woman to leave if it's too much for me to handle. But a lot of times it's nipped in the bud before it gets to that point. And if it does go past that point, I let the chick go. I've let some joints go because they just couldn't get it. They cried and they said whatever and thought they was gonna change. They didn't change, so it was what it was. Like it's done, it's dead. You know what I mean? And I won't go back. You know what I mean? Type of shit. But I know some dudes like, oh yeah, I got an itch, whatever. There's situations where it doesn't matter. I don't care. If I feel like I want to do it, I feel like I want to do it. If I don't, I don't. It's my mood and I'm in control fully of the situation.
So what triggered you in those situations that you just brought up? What triggered you to make you say, you know what, I'm going to kick these chicks out? Because you just said that you don't really have like a level of disrespectful women.
Let me answer.
You can deal with the masculinity shit if she talk, as long as she can handle it. Was it the fact that they just couldn't handle what you were saying back, or was it the fact that you just didn't like how they were talking to you?
They couldn't handle me saying something back.
Gotcha.
So after they realized that I was speaking up about it, and a lot of dudes probably wouldn't speak up about it, they decided that they was gonna.
It's hard to be, but
they was gonna bounce. So I'm like, yo, if it don't work, then I'm out. My solution on telling the joint to bounce is a solution for me to make. Like, you feel me? Like, and me,
I'm only telling a woman to leave if she disrespectful.
yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like, it's so many other reasons.
I would argue that if a woman is saying, and obviously this is the example that if a woman is saying, come and eat, motherfucker, or whatever, then she probably is gonna call you a BAN at some point, because who is just, like, I curse or whatever, but I have never, like, I've cooked for dudes before that I've dated or whatever, I've never said, motherfucker, come and eat. I'll give them their food, like, oh, the food is ready, like, here, give them their plate or whatever. Like, why? If someone's saying, if she's doing that, then she's probably is, when y'all get mad, she probably gonna call you a BAN too, and I don't do that either. I've never said that to a man. Well, I don't deal with guys that I feel act that way. There are guys that I would consider to be BANs, but those who aren't what I want to be with. So nobody that I've dealt with, I've ever said that to them. When I get into arguments, yeah, I'm not saying I don't have disagreements, but I don't insult you when I'm having a disagreement, because that's not the basis of the argument. The argument is what we're talking about, what went on that led up to this. So if you didn't say anything crazy to me like that, and even if I don't be wanting to argue, so even if a dude did say, I would just be like, all right, you're bugging. Like, I'm not about to, like, you talking to me crazy. Like, I'm just not even going to feed into it. And that's like a wrap, because I don't talk to you like that, so I deserve the same respect.
Okay. So let me say that. You said that as a woman you would never say that with just feminine, right? So you would never say that to a dude, like, why you gonna talk to them like that? I don't want them to talk to me like that, at such and such. My thing is, like, and like I was saying, I joked a little bit earlier where I was saying, like, if she was like a comedian or something like that, because I'm used to like she like, it's dinner, motherfucker. Right. Like that, however, like, you know what I mean? But however I accept it, whether it's the tone or how you said it or whatever, like we talked about before, like the delivery, like people get caught up on the delivery. But we're talking about saying curse words that I use fluently, and my partner using curse words fluently to address me or talk to me or having a discussion with me, what I feel uncomfortable about it, it depends on how I feel about that person. The person that I was dealing with that I was madly in love with, she used profanity. And I loved her. I loved her more for the profanity, because it was like, oh my God, like, you know what I mean? But maybe I didn't understand that I should want a more feminine women or whatever because of the trauma of me growing up. I don't know, but I liked it. I enjoyed being with somebody that's comfortable enough for us to speak freely and just, you know, be in that space. I think that's a space. You know what I mean? Now, I don't think, cause like I said, if I'm gonna talk about myself, I'm gonna talk about myself. But if I'm gonna talk about everybody and generalize it to teach a message, to teach people that may not know what's right and what's wrong, and maybe need to understand what should be acceptable and what shouldn't be acceptable. It's like, yeah, you shouldn't let anybody disrespect you, but you have to understand what you feel as disrespectful. Don't listen to what everybody else is talking about outside of your relationship. That's not your relationship. What makes you click might not make them click. So you have to respect that. And I respect people's relationship if what works for them works for them. You know what I mean? And so there may be, like the movie Natural Born Killers, there may be a crazy psychopath couple like that, you know what I mean? And that's how they connect. Her crazy match my crazy. If you crazy, you only want a crazy person. You don't want a regular person if you bugged out, because they never gonna be able to deal with you. But everybody's talking about, oh well, you gotta change. Maybe the way that I am works for me, and it makes me comfortable in my skin. It makes me accept who I am, and somebody that can accept you for who you are, regardless of what the world might think of it. If it doesn't affect anybody else, let it go. But then children get involved and everything. So then you have to understand the time and the place. You have to control that, where it's only for grown folks and there's mommy and daddy words and all of that. So I have the mind to be able to turn it on and turn it off, and I don't swear around my godson and things of that nature, but I know that this is how I talk, this is how I communicate, so I wouldn't be so uptight about my woman talking a certain way, as long as she knows how to control it and know when it's joking and know when it's like whatever, and when she can say it, when it's appropriate, when it's not appropriate, and then we can click from there. But there has to be an understanding and transparency, like, yo, this bothers me. I don't like when you talk to me like that. I don't like when you say come and eat motherfucker. But if she say come and eat motherfucker and we joke about it, like, alright, you know what I mean? Then it's cool, because we joke like that and we kiss and we give each other a hug and we laugh and we joke over dinner while that sounds like love to me. You know what I mean? But some people might come in the house and be like, what the fuck? Why are they talking like that to each other? And to them, in relation to the outsiders, they might be like, man, they corny. You know what I mean? But that's their excitement in their relationship. It's like everybody loves Raymond. You know what I mean? Like, it's that connection, and some people have that and some people don't. Some people are, you know, always professional or whatever, and some people joke around and some people do stuff, play pranks on each other. I don't agree with certain things, I'll be honest with you. But it's all about understanding what's right for someone else, like what somebody's comfortable with. Like, if you don't want me to say that to you, then I won't say that to you. Like, if you don't want me to call you the N-word with an ER at the end of it, then I won't say it. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. I have to respect everybody. If you come in my house and me and my wife talk to each other like that, that's us. You feel me? You can't talk about them. You can't be like, yo, they wrong, like, you know what I mean? But if it becomes traumatic for other people or becomes a danger to society, then yeah, we need to speak out about it. But we need to understand, people love how they love. I think there's many different ways to love.
So I do think, I don't know, there is some people like you will just accept, or you just be comfortable or whatever. Like, I was talking to somebody for a while or whatever, and we would be talking we would talk to each other, but we would kind of be playing, that's how we talk to each other. Somebody was like, y'all like Mr. and Mrs. Smith or whatever, but it's like, but that I feel like that's, I don't know, I really like that person. I feel like that's how we just would talk to each other like that, like play around. But I'm
She about to hit it.
I
mean, you know me. I get you. Want it,
but I just feel like that's toxic. Like, you should, and I think that's why we were so connected. We had like a trauma bond, because we were both like, and it was cool for us. And but I don't think that I would want to.
You shouldn't want pain. You shouldn't be masochistic. That's when it's bad. That's when it's bad. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's lines that get crossed, and I'm talking about if it's abusive, because we know we know what's abusive. We know what's just, horseplay, right? So we have to
like,
draw the
I
line, like, you know what I mean, between horseplay and abuse, physical or verbal, because like I said, come and eat motherfucker with a jokingly way or something like that might not be disrespectful, but yes, when women swear, that is considered a masculine trait for women to have. Women should be more pink and fluffy and feminine and shouldn't swear and da everything spice and everything nice or whatever, you know what I mean? And I love the spice, you know what I mean? But it can't be over the top, Lisa Lampanelli. Like, you gotta have limits, you know what I mean? You gotta have some type of limits where you could be a lady when you need to be a lady, and you can be crazy when you want to be crazy. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you gotta have limits on it.
I think the only reason why we interact that way is because that's how that person was, and I just fed off them, so we would always just be talking shit.
Yeah, that's what happens when you
so, and
if
I
you got a
just,
leader, right? They
But
really,
if someone doesn't behave that way, then I wouldn't, like you say, you would.
now I'm not telling people to go out here and get a girl that say I'm ready to eat motherfucker, like, you know what I mean? Like, don't go out here looking for women that curse at you, you know what I mean? Like, I'm saying, like, when you with somebody for a period of time, you develop certain comfortabilities. You get comfortable, and that's the problem. That's the problem in a relationship. That's the problem in a relationship. Like, a lot of times where they don't work out, because people get so comfortable that they don't communicate effectively with the person, and they're like, oh, it's all right, that's them. You know what I mean? You need to tell them what you don't like, because at some point that you're gonna get tired of that. So you gotta say it. Yeah, he chew with his mouth open. Tell him to close his mouth when he chew his food. Tell him that. You know what I mean? He might be a savage. You know what I mean? Let him know. Yeah. Let him know that you know.
All right.
Hold on. I'm not done. Please. I'm saying because I keep getting cut off. Let me land. I'm saying, like, if you.
It's the weed.
No, because I'm listening to the glasses because I lost my train of thought. Still ain't got it. Alright, anyway.
If you're dealing with someone and they let them know if they're bothering you.
Oh yeah. Let them know if they're bothering you. Thank you. Let them know if they're bothering you, because you can have that connection where you talk a certain way, and I'm saying if it's hurtful, then you need to speak up. If it's not hurtful, then you can let it fly, but you still could have a conversation and say, hey, you know, it's not ladylike for you to talk like that. And she might think you a square if for 13 years she's been talking to you like that. Now all of a sudden you want to change up. Like, you feel me? Like, that need to be something that you establish in the beginning. And that's what I'm saying. In the beginning of my relationship, it would be established that I like women that are like a lady and da-da-da-da. And she might be like, man, well, I like to go to the bar, I like to have a beer. And I might not have a problem with a girl, I like to go to the bar and have a beer. But I still want you to be a lady when you can be a lady, like, and treat me like a man, you know, like you're supposed to treat me, like, type shit. That's all. You know what I mean? But I understand how it could be a little crazy for stuff to be, you know, words to be thrown around, especially verbal, you know what I mean? But some people, you know, when they get upset, they kind of regress, you know what I mean? And they go back into, like, damn, this is what happened. You know what I mean? So it's like that flashback type of shit. They just start reliving, like people that in the military in Vietnam, they start crawling under the table. Oh, get down, everybody. You know what I mean? Clear on the left. Clear 1600. 4 o'clock. You know what I mean?
I ain't go front, bro. Did I ever ask you, did you suffer from any PTSD coming from the army? You ever woke up in cold sweats and just remember the moment and like, damn, like that shit was crazy.
Sweats. It wasn't guerrilla warfare.
You can still, I'm pretty sure
there's certain things that I saw that I can't unsee. There's certain things that I did that I can't undo. There's certain things that happened that I really don't feel comfortable talking about on camera, because it might implicate me in some type of way, whatever. But it was all in the sense of patriotism and doing the right thing or whatever. A lot of stuff that, you know, happened was crazy because I I was a lot younger than I am now. I was like 19, bro. You know, 19 and the shit, as they say.
Kid at 19.
The proverbial shit. So I was there. I was in it, and crazy things happened. And when those things happened, I was able to move forward with life, but it wasn't an easy transition. I had a person that was there through my transition and kind of helped me feel comfortable, and I was like shut off from everybody else. This was the only person I was able to communicate with, I was able to connect with during this period, and then trying to get over that awkwardness of being around other people. I felt more comfortable with this person than I did with anybody else. So I accepted. No. Which is crazy because it's like, yo, like a lot of trauma, you know what I mean, was dealing with that individual too. You know what I mean? On top of
what was that? What was that a movie? Dream girl,
Sorry.
girl.
nah, it's cool.
Jimmy, it's Christmas.
It's just hard to move forward when you got stuff going on, and like it's like certain type of people can get back and just get back into regular life after they're going through it. But yeah, there's been some times where I was like I couldn't sleep or whatever, you know what I mean? Awkwardness, being around people, having conversations, and I'm a very social person. It's been kind of uncomfortable being around people, knowing that I feel like if something happens, I'm gonna do something. Like I'm not a person to just sit down. But then it's like now I'm more cognizant of protecting people I care about, more so than other people that ain't got nothing to do with me. But because I've seen that, I know I don't want to lose the people that I care about. Because I've lost people that I care about. You know what I mean? So that's the trauma that I have to deal with. That's the burden or the scar that I have to bear. You know. But other than that, everything else is regular. But I got some comrades that didn't come back so old. You know what I mean? One of them really bad. He out there, they stranded, collecting cans. They on the street. You know what I mean? Life is not too great for them. Shelter. You know what I mean? And all that. You know what I mean?
They don't help these dudes.
There's stuff available, but it's like it's not easy to really get it. Like a lot of stuff, you need income. You gotta have some establishment, some way to get back and forth to work. They're really strict. They fire people.
So you don't get money for being in the.
You get money if you not right. Like some people get some people get $400 a month. Some people get $400 a month, but they be spending it on stuff to deal with their depression, and you know what I mean. They be doing that. They be hitting the glass DDD.
Yeah, because it depends on what your level of, you know.
Some people seen bodies, bro. Some people seen bodies.
No, I'm saying that's
Parts.
how they determine. Like, so if there's not nothing, if it's
Like
just
limbs.
like, yeah, but if it's not mental, like to the point where it's affecting your everyday life and you can't, like, if they're that person,
Because
they
some
probably
people
did
seen
it
stuff they never seen before.
because that person probably owns, because their mind's messed up, they're probably not even in the headspace to even go apply and look for those.
Cause they be shaking, you can't like it be a lot going on. Some people hear ringing in their ear from constantly hearing bombs, yeah, like stuff like that. Like it's crazy. Like I came back with pretty much decent faculties or whatever, but you know, like yeah, there is some memories that I can't unshake, and there's some what ifs. You know what I mean? What if this didn't happen? What if this didn't happen? Like it's really crazy, the situation, because we was prepared for it, but I didn't realize how prepared I was for it until it actually happened. Then I was like, yo, like I'm really like to do this, but that makes me. But that's what I'm saying. For a man, that's what a man kind of needs. And I'm not just saying that you need a military, but that type of structure, you need discipline, right? Because a lot of men don't have that. And I think every man that was in the military, they started some type of business. If they didn't fall to the streets or something like that, they did something with their bread or use some of those opportunities.
Mindset, like
yeah,
people
absolutely.
Military,
but they have strong leadership qualities. A lot of them, though.
Yeah.
So a lot of them be state troopers and stuff like that. Like they be on it. You know what I mean?
Or even little stuff like promptness. Some people, because they were in the military, if they be like 5 minutes,
Awesome J, by the way.
it's 5 minutes.
Look.
Like they'll literally be like, I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Pretty good.
And you look at your watch and literally it's 5 minutes on the dot, and they, because that's what them, or they're very particular, they might fold their clothes in like a square and do that or something like that.
You know I don't do that.
No,
Yo, I used to have to do all that at 45-degree angle.
That's what I'm saying.
But
They
you know
learn
how to
this.
do it, though.
I know how to do it, but you know how to be doing that?
Some people
It used to have to
sticks
be
with
mad
it.
tight, like,
Perfection,
yo.
nigga.
And I was like, I don't know.
Yo, they
it's
teach-
Y'all know
both
street
sides
that
are
perfections.
doing that.
they teach you OCD in the military.
Oh,
And some
man,
people
that's
that
heavy.
sticks
They
with that.
teach you
And some
OCD.
people they don't. But it is a little not strange, but like
But see, that's
most
the
men
thing.
don't do that. So if you see somebody do that,
You know what I
you're
am?
like,
This is why
not
I
wrong.
joke.
mean, I don't have
This is
it,
why I
but
joke.
it's different. 'Cause
I call myself an anomaly because what I'm able to do, is flip a switch in anything that I learn how to do. So like I learned how to do the stock market. I made a crazy amount of money. I'm not really gonna tell anybody, but check out the links in the bottom and it'll show y'all how to get right. But I made a little bit of money and I stopped doing it. I spent the money, bought a motorcycle, some other things. You know what I mean? Motorcycle was like four stacks. I'm not gonna go
Why
into
you
specifics.
stop, bro?
Because it's a switch now. It's something that I learned that I keep in the back of my mind. I can always turn it on and turn it off,
If
but
you need it.
it take capital. It take
Oh,
capital.
it take capital.
It take capital to make capital. It don't take a lot because of the strategies that I learned and that I taught people, but it takes patience. So it may take you 3 months, which is like 1 quarter. You know what I mean? But you gotta be stern and you gotta be up all night watching your joints, making the move that you gotta make right before the stock market opens and stuff like that, so you can make that money on a daily basis. But every time you make that money, you can't spend it. You make that money, you leave it, and then you wait up. You wait the next day and you find what's the next thing to invest in for the next 2 days. You know, and you swing trade. You swing trade so you make about maybe $300, $400 a day. You know what I mean? You make $300, $400 a day in a couple hours. You know what I mean? So you work for like, you know, from 9 to 12 you done, and then you get out. You know what I mean? Now the goal with
So how much
swing
you
trading,
spending?
you're not spending nothing for the first 2 weeks. For the first 2 weeks, you grind it.
Okay.
First 2 weeks, every dollar that you make, so you're gonna make a few thousand, but you hold that for that first 3 weeks because you gotta wait for the money to settle. A lot of people can't do it. They see the money like a shiny object, and then they take it out, they spend it, and they mess themselves up. You know what I mean? So you gotta be patient, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't know how to do it. I have my cuz, he was like, yo, I want $5, cuz, like, what should I do? How many things you got? I only got one. Oh, don't spend that, yo. Like, yo, I need some gas. See, that's the thing. Like, you can't do that. You gotta use disposable income. So you have to save. You have to save. You have to save $50 a month for 5 months probably, and then be like, yo, I'm gonna do this because that's money that you're not afraid to lose. This is risk money. Now you take that, you put it in your pot, and you take 2% of that, and you start to invest. You take 2% of that to start investing. So you find other things that you can break off, and you take 2% of what you're breaking off to invest into those things. And that's how you build your portfolio with about 5 options. I'm not gonna get too in depth. If y'all want to know more, then subscribe to my shit. I leave the link in the shit all the time. You know what I mean? But just to that point, because this is important for them. Just to that point, like, I'm turning on these switches. I'm learning all these things because the jack of all trades is the master of none, but always better than the master of one. So you gotta continue. I'm giving y'all gems for a reason.
How is that better if you didn't?
I'm giving y'all gems
anything
for a
with-
reason.
you
I'm giving y'all
mastered
gems
one?
for a reason. And I'm gonna tell you all this. Cause a lot of people watch shit and they just be like, yo, like, what value are we getting from this shit?
I mean, what?
Like, I'm gonna
you're
keep it a stack with you.
generating something from it.
Exactly. I'm gonna keep it a stack with
You
you.
have to be
A lot of times people figure out that they can make money from something, but they don't take what I was talking about earlier, that 30% of education that it takes to be sufficient. You need to be a master of something by taking the time and effort and applying it for the number of hours that you need to become sufficient in that particular area before you go out and do it. So I would encourage paper trading so people get the hang of it, because trading is speculative. You know what I mean? You may win, you may lose, but you have to know risk management. You gotta know how to cut your losses or whatever, because you're gonna lose, but you're gonna gain. The object of the game is to gain more than you lose, and you have to understand the strategy scale of making more money than the money that you're losing. So when you figure that out, that's brand new. When you figure that out,
that was brand new. You only have one in there.
there was one that I didn't even open yet.
Maybe I'm bugging.
If you have if you have something that you're trying to do or whatever, and you spend all your time learning and never applying, then you're never going to be successful. So you have to at least take that risk of failure to learn from it if it's something that you want to do. And after you fail, you don't stop. You pick back up and figure out what you did wrong, learn from that, and a lot of times you have to get a mentor in that particular industry to kind of even show you how to be more sharper on what you're doing. And that's called investing in yourself. It costs money. So like a lot of times I don't recommend a person to just start trading money right away, because when you lose money, you get FOMO, fear of missing out. And a lot of people fall into that and they be like, oh, I lost $50, and then they want to quit. But like that means to change the option. It means to find another catalyst. That means put your money on something that you know is going to make you more money. People are afraid to take risks. That's why it's only 1% of people that make millions of dollars. And you're only going to become a millionaire from taking risks.
Right.
You know what I mean? You risk, you fail, and then you learn from it, and then you risk again. You know what I mean? You gotta keep doing it.
Okay, shit.
But I love when you talk about business, like, because that's the only way that my boy will come up on this joint. He don't want to come up here to talk about women or scandals in the media.
That's not what he.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
He only want to talk about business because he's an entrepreneur. He has a lot of value that he can add in these conversations. But the thing is, like, a lot of people in our culture, we're show me people. I gotta see it. So if you're not making money, where's the tangible evidence that you're making $2,000 a week? You know, where's the proof that you're making $15,000 a month? Show me that. You know what I mean? And I got receipts. You feel me? Like I'm not gonna show y'all, but I want y'all to see my boy reaction after I show him, because like the reality of it is, like, I don't even realize it.
Let's put it out there then.
Not
that. But do you think your business is more successful than his business?
Oh, my boy.
Yeah, both are business owners.
It depends on what you say is successful.
I think success determines that.
I think I don't know how to rate it, because I don't know what his living standard is really. You know what I mean?
Does he just do that, or does he have a job too?
He don't have a job.
So he doesn't have a job.
That is his job. Well, I can't say he don't have a job. That's his job.
Okay, so it's his job, is his business, right?
That part.
Is he living? Where's his living conditions?
His living conditions is fair,
Okay.
but on the other strength that he takes care of more than one person.
So, but he does it with his business, right?
He does it solely with his business. Yeah.
So, do you think that you could stop right now and take care of somebody else just off the business?
That was June.
He's
How much money I just be blowing out there.
Niggas getting money.
So and this is like something new that I learned.
And that's just June.
That's just June. This is something new that I've learned, and I'm trying to learn how to manage that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm only like probably spending half of that and the other half of it I'm utilizing for things that I really do. So I continue to take risk in investments. That's why I'm spending so much. But
So what is his problem is he feels like you should be doing it more to reap more of the benefits.
right, that's how he feels.
But you feel like, nigga,
I'm
he's
going
a whole different beast.
I'm going at my pace.
I respect that too.
And he wants me to like
Go
quit
at
my
his
job and
Go at his
do all
pace,
that
yeah.
and be
like
hungry
him.
like that.
Mhm.
My boy is hungry, you know what I
respect
mean?
that.
But I'm not no slouch, you know what I mean? So that's why I don't compare.
What's his business?
You know,
What's like business?
he does mobile tinting, and right now he's doing
If he ever come up,
he's
I need my
doing e-commerce.
success.
He's trying to get me to tell a whole bunch of people about e-commerce because he wants us to build generational wealth by doing e-com.
What is e-com for real?
E-commerce
I've heard it.
is selling stuff online.
I'm not trying to sell nothing. I'm not a salesman.
Yo, it sells itself. That's the thing about what's one of the things that I do? What's my company? Painting, right? Painting contracting.
Mhm.
I hope my uncle watched this episode, but I don't do one stroke. I don't do one stroke of paint.
Yeah, because you're the owner. You don't have to.
But listen, I figured out a way for us to always make money.
That's bullshit.
Well, we, huh?
She said like the blood.
Oh.
like
This is a good conversation.
Yeah,
Erika. Like,
I mean,
I
yeah,
don't-
you could go,
like-
but you smoke it's
Nah, you right.
lifted.
Because I be talking just with you about
Let's
that.
get lifted.
Nah, but what I'm saying is, it's good to know, like, all right, like, to have the understanding of how to do it. But like I said, that's what I'm saying. These are just like locked in the chambers. These are little things that I've learned to do it. So I'm doing it at my pace because now I know how to run a business, right? So now we're doing that, and then I can figure out how to do this with another business, and then another business, and then another business, and another business, like Jay-Z did. You know what I mean? I can figure out how to find a business that makes more money, an industry that has a higher niche. There's nothing better than providing a service, right? Because people are always going to need that. But, you know, they got AI, they got all this other stuff, right? But then when you have a product, that's even better because your product will probably live forever. Even if you have AI to mass produce your product, you still have the product. So you got the product. Now you have a brand based over your product. That's never going to go out of style. Even if you make $100 a year, that's $100 a year. You're not doing nothing. Would you rather just be like, man, I'm not trying to sell nothing. But if you just put it up there and just let it sit and it makes $100 a year, are you comfortable with that? There you go. That's the simple way to put it out there. And it starts.
We don't know if it's that
sell.
simple though.
Well,
You know it's that simple
well, no.
because you have the experience.
I
Like if you put it to me like that and then made it make sense, I'm doing it. You see what I'm saying?
Bro.
But it's just, you know,
Bro,
we don't know.
It takes time and just notating everything. Everything has a little thing, you know what I mean? You gotta figure out.
wrote on it?
Yes. You gotta take notes. You gotta analyze data. You gotta do research, analytics. You gotta know how the industry moves. And I use tools. I use the tech that we have now. You know what I mean? So that's why my boy says like some of us are lazy, but people don't know which way to go. So that's why they need people to kind of show them, lead them to the water so that they can drink. You know what I mean? And if they don't want to drink, that's on them. But I put it out there so that people know it's not as hard as people think. It's just again that drive that a lot of people don't have. But my boy says, you know, it's discipline. He thinks they're lazy. I don't think people are lazy. I just think people never learn this. And then now, 30 years later, you're going to tell somebody, look, this is what you got to do. And you know what? It might take 5 years of your life of you being broke, but I'm telling you, it'll be worth it.
I think there's a certain amount of people that
It is. It's like 1%.
like that just get it, and that'll do what it takes to, you know what I mean, get themselves
1%.
financial.
But they're doing it. So even though there's an anomaly, because the anomaly exists, but it creates the rule. The anomaly is there so that the rule can be created to help those people that are outside of that norm, right? So those people that's making it, there's a system to how they did it, but this is what you have to do. Like the system is, it's gonna probably take you 10 years. Are you willing to sacrifice 10 years of your life to be rich? You know what I mean? And then it's like, well, I'm alright, I'm happy with life, you know, as long as I'm eating, as long as my family is well, as long as I can put my baby through college, that's good. But your baby could put her baby and their baby through college. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way that you're supposed to think. You're supposed to think that extra step ahead. And my boy argues like, yo, yeah, but if you could do that, everybody can do that. Everybody's not thinking like that. Because everybody's not a leader. So it's like, yo, you gotta teach yourself to be a leader so that you can follow these rules that you need to follow for the period of time that you need to follow it. And you need to stick to that. You need to not deviate from that. And the deviation is the distractions. The new cootie that come out, you know what I mean? The new sneakers that just dropped, the hot buys, you know what I mean? That game that just came out that you want to get, you know what I mean? That chair that you want for the podcast, you know what I mean? That new dress that you gotta get, or that dinner that you want to go to, or that movie that you gotta see. You know what I mean? Denial of gratification.
He was like,
What he
tells people to, you know, he tries not to champion mediocrity. And, well, he didn't say those words, but basically, like, he tells people, like, you should, you know, go hard. And, like,
Stop
invest your money
man.
in other stuff. He was like, but at the same time, I say that, but I got, like, $300,000 worth of clothes in my, he was like, but I still make money. And but he's saying he tell people don't do that, invest in property and do stuff like that.
But he invest in property, though.
Yeah, he do that, too.
Do as I say, not
But-
as I do.
No, he practicing what he preach. But you shouldn't be.
Not to be telling them not to buy what he
But
has.
but see, that's the thing.
Is do what
Those
I
who
say, not as I
can,
do.
those who can do, those who can't teach. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, like, this dude is out here, he's making all this money, he's doing whatever he's doing, but he got some type of budgeting. It's entertaining for you to see these people with this expensive stuff and this new fur or whatever, you know what I mean? But the reality is, they have to get to that point. They don't tell you about the journey or whatever. That's why I like to talk about the journey.
Everybody's not going to be that. Some people that's not mediocre to live a regular life and then work a 9 to 5. You can still.
That is mediocre though.
It depends on
their mind is saying it's not. No, listen, what I'm
But
saying.
you
Their
were
mind is saying that it's not mediocre, but it is mediocre. Because mediocre is what? There you go. No?
What is the definition of?
Oh my goodness. Let's look it up now. We got this stuff.
Because you can work a 9. For some people, that's working a 9 to 5, and they're able to provide for themselves and their family,
normal.
And they can go on 1 or 2 vacations a year.
That's normal.
Like, yeah, that's fine.
That's
it's
normal.
only mediocre to other
That's
people.
normal.
If they're making more
Right.
than that, then they're looking down on you. But for that person
Exactly.
that's living that life, which is most of the world, that's not mediocre.
Moderate or low quality.
Low
value,
quality, that's not
ability
regular.
or performance.
Regular is the
No,
average.
read all of them because you know it's like
Ordinary
that.
or so-so.
Ordinary or so-so. Ordinary definitely stands out. It has many other
But then
synonyms
it said
because it's
low
that.
quality.
Yeah.
Ordinary and low quality are not the same thing.
Right,
Ordinary
they
is
are.
average.
And that's why you gotta understand what and these are every word like in the English language is contextual,
Right.
right?
It said of moderate or low quality.
Right.
It's not just low quality.
Right.
Moderate is like regular. Low quality could be a little bit less than, you know what I mean? And then value, ability. or
And then it says
performance.
ordinary, which would be the norm,
So.
right?
What does it mean if somebody is mediocre? A person that is not very good at something or not very, no, a person that is not very good at something or not very good at anything in particular or something that is not very good. These people are just mediocre, right? I can say the word smart vocabulary words, okay or not very good. So it could mean okay or
So
not very
decent.
good. Decent.
And most people are doing what?
Yeah, decent.
Right. So that's what they define as mediocrity. You wanna be
Above average?
exceed expectations.
That's
You know what I mean?
want.
That's really
But
what you
like
want.
you said, there's
That's really
1%
what you-
of people
but that's-
doing that,
but
so
that's
everybody
mediocrity.
don't wanna do it. You shouldn't want to. Everybody can't. If everybody's a boss, where the workers at?
We
You
strive.
can't be
That's true, too.
like
Yeah.
everybody's not gonna be that. So and they
We
shouldn't
understand
try
that,
to do
right.
that if they're not equipped to do that. Everybody's not fit to be a leader and to be
They're
an
not.
entrepreneur and run a business.
But what
and
are we
have a
teaching our
Fortune
kids?
500 company.
What are we teaching our kids?
To if they're able to take, first of all, if you're having children, you should be able to leave something to them anyway.
But what are we
Right.
teaching them?
you're teaching them morals and values, and then if they have good morals and values, then they'll, regardless of how much money they make, they're gonna be able to be successful in their own regard. They don't have to be a millionaire just because you are. If your child is still successful in their own right, they're taking care of themselves and they're a moral person, they're not a criminal, and they're taking care of their family and they have good morals and beliefs, you should be proud of them.
You're teaching them that no matter what, you should be proud of them, or are you teaching them that?
I didn't say no. Did I say no matter what? I gave a specific scenario.
Okay.
If you could have good morals, values, and beliefs, you're taking care of your family, and you're not a bum living on the streets, and you're not a criminal. As long as you're doing that, it doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter how much.
Or you just want them to be a good person. Because I'm trying to get to.
Smiley want to know if what the description.
That's what I'm teaching them.
If the description that you
so
gave,
whatever they choose to do, as long as it's within those guidelines,
is it mediocre though? Is that
to me?
Okay.
If they don't consider it mediocre, if they're happy with that life, like you can't live your life based on what other people want you to do. 100%. I wouldn't want them to be a bum. I wouldn't want them to worry about where their next milk is gonna come from. As long as they're stable and they're happy with what they're doing and they're not a criminal, then I would be proud of them.
I respect that.
Now I do respect that. I'm not talking about being proud of my kid.
What you talking about?
I'm talking about
what you teach them. I'm teaching them good morals and because you could give them all the money or tell them, oh, be rich or whatever. But then if you don't teach them, you can't go bust people aside the head. You shouldn't be fighting. If you don't teach them not to be ratchet, they could have all the money and go fuck it up because they don't have a good head on their shoulders. So if you teach them, you could be broke. You could not have nothing to give to them. You could not have. A lot of people don't have nothing to leave their children.
So
but what makes them come out of that and turn their life around, be better than the parent, is because of the values that you instilled in them. But you also have to know that too. And most people don't.
I agree.
Kids can't leave something to them. Most people that have kids don't teach them the right thing. They have to learn it from experience or watching other people go through it that are not you. They don't teach them these. Most
that's
parents,
a problem.
They don't.
That's why I said back to what I said.
So if you teach them to have a good mindset, a good head on their shoulders,
it starts from the home.
Is what gonna make them a successful member of society. And success depends on what as long as you're not, like I said, if you're stable, you're not a criminal, and if you have a family, you have kids, you're not calling me every week asking me for money. Not saying that I wouldn't help you if you did, but then you're not taking care of yourself, right? You're doing something wrong. If you're able to stand on your own 2 feet and you're a reputable member of society and you contribute in some way or whatever, and you're happy with the life that you're living, that's all I can ask for. That's what I'm going to teach you, whatever that could be within those guidelines. I teach you you have to be a millionaire because some millionaires they're okay, you're a millionaire, but you ain't a shit. Nobody wants to be around you. Right. Your way of thinking, your mindset. Some people are millionaires because they sold drugs. Is that what I want to teach my child to do? If we're just talking about specifically about finance,
morality isn't.
I'm not talking about specifically about that, but morality is can I? Because I like what you're saying, and that's gonna help my point. So this is why there needs to be two people.
And one more thing, and then if you teach them that, they might be that 1%.
Now, I like that shit. Now I'm about to cook, so you're gonna have to listen for a second, and you might be triggered, but please don't interrupt me. I'll let you fly. So let me eat. So this is why there needs to be 2 parents in the household, both male and a female, right? It's extremely important because of everything that she just poured out, which was all good points. Awesome, all good points. But this is where it's gonna get a little bit more dicey, yeah. So the whole thing about being a millionaire, and this is where me and my boy kind of differ with the whole business thing, because I love to talk about this business stuff because it's reality. I understand that there's only a small percentage, it's like 2%, or 1% of people that are really making that kind of money, like millionaires or whatever, beyond 6 figures or 6 figures or whatever. 6 figures like 10%, millionaires is like 1%. You know what I mean? The numbers are crazy. But, and those numbers might be a little bit different, but I know it's a single digit for the people that's making it, and it's a small double digit, less than 20%, that's actually making six figures, right?
But
So,
that's a lot
hold on.
because of the
Come
amount of people in the world.
Let me
10% of billions.
Well, they know that. But let me. So, that being said, the general consensus of somebody in the household has to be able to continue whatever a family business is, whatever you have, whatever your idea of that is, right? There needs to be a structure. So we didn't talk about they should already have some business and be passing it down generational wealth. We had to get to that first. So the idea is if you don't have it, you could still be guiding the person in the right way or trying to get yourself to that point. But the point is that you don't want your kid to settle for mediocrity, daughter or son. You want your daughter to excel, because there's gonna be there's gonna be times when they're gonna want to quit, they're gonna want to stop, they're gonna be like, oh, let's just take them out. And that's when it's like, I'm gonna be proud of you no matter what. It's good to be proud of your kids no matter what. Absolutely, I agree with that. But it's not to allow them to give up. It's not to allow them to just stop doing something because things got hard. What we want to encourage them to do is give it some time to work out. Teach them those things that I was talking about earlier. Teach them how to deny gratification and not go buy the snacks and stuff like that, and save the little money that they got so they can start the little lemonade stand or something like that. Teach them how to make their own money so that they don't need mommy's money or daddy's money or whatever. Teach them how to do that. Teach them how to be self-sufficient adults. Yeah, and they can still be a pivotal part of society. They don't have to be making millions of dollars, but they can be contributing in some way to understand how to make their own and not have to rely on the powers that be. That's what I'm saying. The idea of learning how to build your own, learning how to live off the land and things like that, both parents should be able to teach their kids, right? But generally it's the man, we're hunters and gatherers. You know what I mean? So they're gonna have to teach that young man how to be a young man and go to make for himself, or teach the young woman how to go out and make for herself. The family is gonna learn from that leadership of that patriarchy and that environment, and they're gonna learn that, yeah, we can do this, but you want to go to med school, okay, you're gonna freaking finish. I'm gonna pay for all this for you to go, and I don't want you to come back and tell me, oh, I can't do it, I'm not taking my test, I'm gonna spaz. I want to be mad, yo. Like, why am I paying for you to be a doctor and you don't want to be the next Ben Carson? I don't want to be the next Ben Carson. I just want to be a regular guy. I don't want to hear that, because I'm investing in you, because I believe in you, because I want the best for you, because I know what's better for you is not here and not working at a couple retail chains or working at some corporate level job or whatever, sitting down there punching numbers for some boss that's yelling at you. I want you to be able to be yelling at people. You know what I mean? I want you to be in a position to take care of everybody and probably take care of me, probably. I ain't gonna hold you. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't want you to have to take care of me unless I can provide something where a little nest egg for everybody else to be able to take care of each other. But I'm teaching my children to be self-sufficient and not rely on the government assistance and stuff like that. Don't settle for the mediocre job that's making $50,000 or whatever, when you know you got the potential to make $80,000, $90,000. You're gonna need that extra $30,000. Trust me, life is tough. So you might want that little cushion so you can get the car that you want. So you don't have to live in the apartment in that part of town. You know what I mean? So you can get out of here, so you don't have to stay here and have to live this life and have to do the stuff that I had to go through. You know what I mean? I want you to be better than me, but I want to show you that I'm being better. But if I can't get there right now because I'm so pushed back, I'm going to give you the tools that you need to get that edge. But I'm not going to allow you to stop just to settle because you don't think you're good enough or you're not smart enough. I'm not going to tell my kid they can't be the president if they say they want to be the president. Because the reality is, yeah, everybody's not going to be able to be the president. I understand that. But I'm not going to deny my kid what they need to get there. So if this kid needs to be a part of student council, run for class president, needs to get all of this stuff, I'm going to have all these things planned out because I'm a thinker. I'm gonna have all these things planned out so that I'm gonna have all these things planned out so that my kid can learn how to become a president. Learn that they gotta have the structure of political science to get to that level in life. You know what I mean? You might want to run for student council. You might want to be in the student council or something like that. Or you got to get better grades. You got to be better with this. I'll get them a tutor so that they can read better if they're not able to read better. I'll take the time to learn how to read with them. I'm going to invest time and effort for my kid to be the best. When they say they want to be the president and they're 7 years old, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to listen to this kid. This kid might be on to something. You know what I mean? And let them get that road to that. I don't think it happens in the home like it should. But with my mind, it would happen like that at home. You know what I mean? And that's why I be saying I'm an anomaly. But go ahead.
So obviously,
I
don't plan on having a child without the father's input, so they would be there. But if you're telling them to start a business because that's what you want to do. I wouldn't tell them, oh, obviously, like I said, whatever makes you happy. So if they're saying that they want to be a president, yes, I wouldn't tell them not to do anything. I said I would teach them, and obviously financial stability, because I said I would want them to stand on their own 2 feet. So I would teach them financial literacy and teach them how to make their own money and teach them those views. I said leave something to them, not necessarily a business. That could be monetary, like or a trust fund or something that they can't access or something. I would want to be able to do that if I have a kid, ideally or whatever. Yeah. So they can, but I would give them the tools to know what to do with that, is what I'm saying. But whether they're the president, I'm not gonna make them do something that they don't want to do. If they have an idea that they want to do and it's morally sound and it's not illegal or something, and this is what they want to pursue, of course I'm gonna be supportive of that. That's what a parent does. Absolutely. And of course the father's gonna have input as well. They're the father, like that's how it's supposed to be. But again, nowadays there's not fathers in the household, because they're not together.
Not fathers with a business mindset.
They didn't even have a relationship most of the time. So I would teach them that too. Don't just be getting pregnant by somebody that you're just out here.
Like a lot of fathers is getting the bag to get by. They're not getting the bag for the future. Like they don't really be thinking about and it's just I'm talking about in our culture specifically. Like people are just figuring out, oh, I can do this to make money. You know what I mean? Where it's like this has been happening before you was born. Like where you been at. But it's like nobody was there to guide them and get them there so they could learn it. And my boy's like, yo, the internet been around for this amount of time and everybody had access to all of this. I'm like, yeah, but they don't know where to look. They don't know what questions to ask. They don't know who to talk to get this information. So it's like people gotta be out. Some people have to guide people. But like a lot of people don't listen. A lot of people challenge you when they don't, and they be like, well, why you didn't do this? Da, 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 da. You know what I mean? And it's good. It definitely, that's what I'm saying. That structure has to be available to them so that they have the ideas of knowing they want to be a doctor or they want to be something like that. And you position them for certain things so that they get to that level in life because that's what you want. If my kid tell me that they want to do anything, I won't limit them. Like, my kid is autistic, God forbid, right? If my kid is autistic, I'm still gonna, challenge them and try to get them, if I see something that they're good at, then I'm gonna make sure that we focus on that and get them as good as they can be at whatever that is so that they can be a productive part of society, like you were saying earlier. But if they don't have any disadvantages, I'm not gonna let my kid come into the house and be acting like, they don't know which way is up and the left from the right.
So you gotta start early, basically.
Yeah, you gotta start early. Putting these toys away when you're 2 years old. You know what I mean? Teach them how to tie their shoe when they start walking. You know what I mean? Like these are things that parents don't know because no matter how old you are, if you never had a kid, no book, Dr. Lipschitz or whatever you get, you know what I mean? It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. Shout out to the Rugrats, guys.
Shit.
It don't matter what you on, yo. It really don't matter what you on. Like at the end of the day, like it's really gonna be a new experience for you. And all these kids are little personalities of their own, so they all different. So like when they get to a certain age and start becoming themselves, whatever they absorb from you, you're gonna be like, this little mother Iggy. You know what I mean? And I'll be like, yo, like, but it's cute until it's not. And so then you gotta, use corrective action in some cases.
Yeah, you
know what I
gotta
mean?
can't laugh.
But it's tough
It
because
be
look at
hard.
this little
Sometimes
person.
it be funny.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you be like,
Yeah.
like, don't say that. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I said, like if I'm swearing or I
Don't
can't be
post it
swearing
on
around my
TikTok.
kid and stuff like
And laugh about
this
it.
world is crazy now, and that's what I'm saying. It's not a lot of people that's level-headed like me that's also consumed with technology, but I also look at it like I know right from wrong. I got common sense.
Yeah, and that's what
Like I'm not
saying.
gonna just
People
put
think-
everything on the internet. Like everything that I do don't have to be publicized. Like I'm not a reality TV show, and I wouldn't want to be the Truman Show. You feel me? I don't like to walk around knowing that somebody watching me every time I'm doing regular stuff. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, and
sometimes
you
I'm not
have
at my
to
best,
teach-
sometimes whatever.
Teach your kids discernment because you can tell them, oh, don't watch, don't listen to, or don't permit them to listen to certain music or watch certain stuff. But when they get older, they're gonna be around other kids. They might hear from somebody at school.
When nobody's around, they gonna watch.
So you
that
gotta
shit.
teach them that this is entertainment. Just because she twerking, you might like the beat or something, that don't mean you need to do that. She's saying this or that, or they going and shooting Bobby or whatever, like that's not cool. That doesn't mean that you should do that. You see what's happening with YSL because of what they doing. They go into trial for selling drugs or whatever. It's criminal. I don't even know. I don't be into all that. I didn't even listen to his music, but he like you should teach them to know, like even if you do hear that song, that's not good to be those type of people. That's not cute. Men don't like a woman. Well, most men don't like a woman walking around with no clothes on and stuff to take her serious. Like he might sleep with her. So
Right.
you listen to that music. It's okay to turn up by yourself with your friends or whatever and dance because they probably gonna do that. But know that you shouldn't be out here posting videos of your
And body
ass
mods.
twerking or whatever on the internet for everybody to see your cheeks.
Especially if you want to get married.
Yeah.
And body mods. Tell them.
Mm.
Talk about the body mods.
Oh yeah, of course. No, my kid ain't getting no damn plastic surgery. Are you kidding? Or no injections or no lip fill. No, I don't agree with that. And then people are stupid because you see all these people are dying or getting infection, having to drain the stuff out if they do survive or whatever, and you still doing this stuff, and it doesn't even matter if it's a good doctor or anything. There are things that can go wrong anyway. Why would you put yourself up for that risk? And then sometimes it be looking botched, then you gotta go back to where they don't know when to stop. They become addicted to it.
You
And
think
who
that's
are
what
you
happened
trying to
to,
impress? These people, y'all all look the same.
Do you think that's what happened with certain celebrities?
And guys are constantly saying they like natural body. They don't want you doing it. Like, yeah, if it looks good and you get it done, they might accept it. Like, if you can't really tell that you got work done, but they would prefer a natural body that you could look like that too. But nobody wants to work out. And then when you get that stuff done, you still have to work out to maintain it, or it's gonna do the same thing. If you get liposuction and you keep eating and don't work out, it's gonna grow back. If you get your butt done and your titties, it's gonna sag if you don't exercise. And if you walk around with no bra on all day, it's still, that's the normal process. You think because they're lifting up now, in 10 years, you're gonna have to go get them done again. And you still have to go get checked and make sure, like within 10 years when you get your boobs or something done, you might have to get them retouched. They might still be good or okay. So this is not something that's always a one and done. You might not wake up. You might look crazy. You might have to keep going back. Like, all of these risks involved. Like, why would you do that? I wouldn't even want to get surgery if it was medically necessary. So I'm damn sure I would probably do it.
Yo.
But I wouldn't damn sure do it just for, like, oh, because I want to be
Nah, I know. But I want you to talk about what you was talking about in the car yesterday. Yo, that was funny. Not yesterday, the other day. Yeah, a different topic, but kind of like, also kind of dealing with like what you would accept or what you wouldn't accept in a relationship. Like, your girl with a nah, I don't got another one.
Got papers? I have papers.
If you was dealing with somebody and they got attacked by the trans community.
Oh. Yeah,
Sorry, YouTube.
What do you mean attack? Like beat up?
So basically, if you and your man were out and a trans man, I don't know, but
A woman, a man.
a man that transitions to a woman, yeah, is beefing with you specifically, and this trans wants to fight you. Let's say your boyfriend steps in and the trans removes. Do you help the trans, or do you help your man against the trans, or do you let two men fight?
You can't say that. Yes, I can. It's not two men. I know this is well, it's probably not feminine or whatever, but I don't care who it is. If my man's getting beat, well, first of all, I'm gonna try to stop. I'm gonna try to stop it from it even getting to that point. Like if I see them arguing, I'll be like, "Babe, come on, like stop," or I'll try to break it
That's
up.
why I said
if they start,
he's arguing with you, and your man defends your honor, but he gets whooped.
Well, I would try to stop them from fighting, but because what are we
So
arguing
you trying to
about?
break it up? You trying to break it up?
But I don't care if my man's getting beat up and I can't break it up, then I don't care who it is. It doesn't matter if it's a regular, a natural born.
How you gonna look at him after?
I would help you. He probably knows.
What if he got
He
slept?
knows how to fight.
What if he got slept?
He knows how to fight though. It's not
you can't beat everybody.
Some trans
but
too.
you know how to fight. So if you still, even though they're not like, oh, you got stomped out.
You know how to fight.
If you get knocked out, you get
But
stomped
you got,
out.
But that's not gonna happen. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna jump in it regardless
Oh,
of who. I'm not gonna just. It doesn't matter if it's a trans man, a cisgender
what if they
man,
get
a
slapped
natural
before
born.
you jump in it? How do you avoid that? Some things are sudden.
I would try to break it up before it even
But
happened, because I don't.
Before it happens,
we
what
argue.
happens?
Hold on. Would you be understated if he tried to break up with you afterwards?
He's breaking up with me for helping him?
No. He's breaking up with you because he gets knocked out, and then when he wakes up, the other person is gone. They left. Let's say you didn't even have a chance to break it up. He just knocks his ass out and then dips. And then he wakes up and he wants to break up with you. Would you be understanding?
No, he's probably gonna get shot. That's self-defense.
Erika's a gangster.
That's self-defense. Right, little Timmy?
That is self-defense.
It's not. They call him yourself, but technically it's not yourself. But I'm protecting my man. So my man.
If that, honestly, to be perfectly honest,
I probably won't kill you.
if a person
Then I'm gonna
is
call the cops.
fighting, if a trans woman is trying to fight me, and my girl intervene and want to stop it, I'll stop it. If she get whooped, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm breaking up with her. But if I get whooped, I probably feel like my girl won't respect me no more. Like,
even if she's sympathetic towards you, just feel
because
like
now I'm gonna feel like weak.
Because you feel some type of way.
Right, I'm gonna feel some type of way here for me. So as a man, I feel like, I gotta fight that whatever again.
Would you break up with her for that? If you get knocked out by a trans?
If she act a certain way after,
let's say she doesn't. Let's say
break
she's supportive, but then one time, let's say one time, she makes a joke about that shit in front of your friends.
I wouldn't do that.
in front of my people,
In front of your people. Like, oh, I don't know about that.
I feel the same way soldier. That's that disrespect. That's that disrespect.
Yeah,
Like that's what I'm talking about. Like if she disrespect me like that, then we might have a conversation. We might have an argument. I might be spazzing, whatever. Like
Damn,
right?
that hurt a nigga
Right.
so like.
Right, I'll feel some type of way.
That's messed
I'll feel some type of way. I'll be like, yo, the dude was 250. The dude was like, he did MMA. Like I ain't see it coming like that. Like I ain't see it coming like that. But it's all good. I'll fight it again. You know what I mean? Whatever. Like, but at the end of the day, if I put myself in that situation, knowing that it's risky like that, and I'm not prepared to handle consequences, I can't get mad at Shorty. You know what I mean? But I would get mad for her to throw it in my face. Like, that's terrible. Like, don't deal with me if you're gonna throw it in my face. Like, oh, you could yell at me, but you ain't yell at that
and that's what I'm saying. I don't know why people do that. People do that to people.
That hurts for a man. Cause for a man, that's all you got. All you.
For myself. I said, can I have some more? Sorry.
Of course.
No,
paper.
Oh,
paper.
Yo, that's all you got for these. You heard? You heard me? So that's all you got is these when you a man. That's all you got is these. Then you win some and you lose some, but you live
to fight another day. Yeah, but I'm sorry, and I know guys don't like this because they don't want their woman. I've heard guys say they wouldn't want their woman to jump, but listen.
Yeah, because if a guy whoops my woman and I get knocked out, I'm gonna want to kill that man. I'm gonna want to kill that man.
I can't help it. Like I can't just stand there and let.
I was like, you right there. We would have had to kill that. We'd have had to murder that nigga.
We're just joking.
Yeah, we're just joking. Definitely just joking.
We're not talking about ourselves.
Nah.
This is all.
It's all entertainment purposes only. Yeah, that was a hell of an episode, right?
You never wait. You say you wanted to say the topic from when Melissa and Melissa Ford and
we already talked about that.
Her feet.
Rubbing her feet. Wait, what?
When she took her
feet joint.
What feet joint?
And he was like, you want to ask that question.
What?
Oh yeah. What's two things that turn you on?
Two things that turn me
Pause.
on. I gotta go based off the girl I'm talking to now. A woman with intellect and a woman that is considerate, like super duper considerate.
Okay.
That's a turn on because a lot of these women are selfish and a lot of these women aren't considerate at all. You know what I'm saying? So when I get against the norm, you gotta cherish and appreciate that shit.
Two things that turn me on from a woman is.
I can say regular shit like.
I'm talking about that get me ready to go. Like,
oh, okay.
You know what I mean? What get me ready to go, like with a shorty, like is like
massages,
anything like affection, anything
yeah.
seductive, like touch. I guess that's my love language, touch and good conversation. So if you could think about that, like if a chick could really talk nasty when she about to I'm like, yo, word, then I already be on it. And then she touching me while she saying what she's saying, I'm gonna be ready. And then I like what turns me on even more is her pleasure. So I really got if I could say just two things, it would be, me really visually stimulated from a woman, her body, you know what I mean, when I'm doing what I'm doing to her, and then probably her touch, you know what I mean, not necessarily touching my D, but just touching me anywhere, could be touching my back, could touch my shoulder,
like some caress,
you know what I mean, caress, just a woman's touch is good, a woman's gentle touch, and her soft skin or whatever, you know what I mean, that. But the thing that seduction, man, that one's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, are you done?
Yeah, that was it for me.
So that freaky shit in.
Toxic. I don't know. I like a guy to be kind of well, I like masculine, but I like be like,
I just want a roughneck nigga.
no,
Tupac.
like not
related.
necessarily him, but like I like to be like grab me by my neck and like push me up against the wall. Or
shit.
something.
Oh shit. You like the physicality shit.
Yeah. Or, I don't know. Or you don't say nothing, just do, like, or just
go.
over. I don't know, just be take charge and and smart. So I do like smart because when the guy speaks well, like I like that too. Like so to lead up to that, like if you got just head on your shoulder, obviously you gotta be attractive. That's
That's
to
right.
me.
Standard. You
But
already know.
if you speak well, like then I like that.
Respect.
Cause you could have both. You could have the insurance and but that, yeah. So that's it.
It was something else that I wanted to talk about. I don't know if we got this will be real quick anyway. So I remember before y'all was talking about Black Mirror or whatever, right? So since you guys was talking about that, I got a little curious, so I started doing my own research. So I looked up, how do you get the rights to your likeness? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you told me that.
Right. So I watched a few videos, and some of the videos kind of gave me some information, kind of saying like, some ways that you could possibly get this would be getting a right of publicity, and that's where it's like you have rights to anything of your likeness, but you have to have a brand for yourself.
Yeah.
So one of the things is like, if you don't have any type of business or any type of thing that you're connected to paying,
Then you can't do it.
then you can't do it.
You can't control
So
your own
what
life.
does that mean?
It's crazy.
That
You
they could
don't-
do.
Well, hold on,
You don't have control.
hold
They
on.
have control.
Hold on, 'cause
Somebody have control.
Remember I said I was doing research.
Joining this.
So what I screenshot, what I sent you was a part of an article that's actually from a law firm. And the law firm tells you that as a right, as an American, your Constitution protects you from such things, but you just have to know how to fight it.
Yeah, but
You have
they
to be able to
weren't
prove that
prepared
it's your
for
likeness.
that. It's not really you. It's an I. What do you call it?
It doesn't
AI
matter. It doesn't matter.
Because that's
If
what
they're
happened in
using-
movie. They're like, you
Well, that's a
can't do
movie.
nothing
That's a
because it's not
movie.
really
Right,
you.
man.
As a movie, yeah.
It's not
But-
a person, so you
but
can't
like-
sue an AI. You could sue a person.
But they could
You have
really
to
do
sue the
that.
company.
Real shit.
So you have to figure out where it's coming from and then figure out how this is a defamation. You know what I mean? But you have to have,
Not if you sign away your rights.
but that's
People
what I'm
don't
saying. What are
read
you
stuff.
signing?
People don't. The terms and conditions.
So you gotta read that.
He
Gotta
signed up for Netflix.
You gotta
and they
read
did
page
that.
page 30,
Crazy.
page 30, page.
What was it called? It wasn't Netflix.
Streamberry.
It was Streamberry.
What page was it? Page what? 30?
I don't remember the article that the lady said, but that joke was
Yeah,
funny.
page 30.
Because she was
Whatever
like, I
page.
want to sue the company. She was like, you can't.
But that's what I'm
You signed-
saying,
And
yeah.
She's like, I want to sue Salma Hayek because she's playing. You
So
can't.
you-
That's
It
an
wasn't even
AI.
yeah, it wasn't even Salma Hayek.
So you could own yourself, right? You could own yourself, but you have to take the right precautions, have an attorney and all that other stuff. I mean, you can do it yourself, but just make sure that you sign the right documents and you have a reputable company supporting your trademark or whatever your brand is that you have control over. And yeah, you can't have rights to your likeness, and people can't steal your identity.
Could you imagine going to like a town and the whole town knew about you from like a TV show that you
Yo,
that would fuck my life up.
That's what happened
Yeah.
on Joan is Awful. Well, it was her. She was at work that day, and then all that stuff, everything that happened that day, she came home and watched Streamberry, and it was on the show.
That shit was
that's crazy, bro.
And it was Salma Hayek as an AI.
And all her
playing
friends
her.
was leaving her and stuff. Like, yo, that joke was crazy. That's crazy.
Oh, you watched it now?
Yeah, I
It's part of his research.
That's part of my research.
That joint was crazy, right?
It
What
was
is that?
crazy.
Because think about it, we all have Netflix or have had it probably. If
We
we
don't
don't
read no
have.
terms and conditions. We just
That's
say,
why.
Be real.
That's
Be
why.
for real.
That's why I was talking about what I was just talking about. That 30% of education is vitally important before you do anything. You gotta make sure you
At
read
least skim
the
that
fine
shit.
print.
Yeah.
Remember, I was doing house hunting. I went through all the documents, all the paperwork, all the legal fees, all of that stuff, and then decided, nope, I can't get this house because I realized the liability that I would have for all the stuff that I have to take care of.
When you sign up for Netflix or any of these streaming services.
I never thought about it.
Exactly.
I never thought about it.
That's the crazy.
But guess what? I
Cause
don't
this
have
ain't no
I don't have none
job
of
or
those.
nothing that you make
I don't
income
have none
from.
of
You
those
just
no
watching
more.
this for entertainment. They done took your life over.
Yeah.
Cause you ain't read.
Well, shoot, they can't take it now. You ain't read. But yeah, man, we have.
I don't know.
Let me get back up here and show y'all. I'm out.
Might do that. They be,
Alright,
they be
yo.
predicting the future.
Yeah,
Get
you do.
lifted.
We did have a good episode, yo. It was lifted. You know what I mean?
Smoke weed every day.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
And we out here,
Yeah,
yo.
yeah.
Get lifted. 30 is the new 20.
You heard, man?
See y'all next week.
Listen.
Be on the move like I need a new hobby. Fuck a 9 to 5.